Boston's home for sports.
He scores! What a blast by Boston! Waiting, Holiday screams, good night! Oh!
WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
After getting blown out at home over the weekend, the Bruins will try again at TD Garden tonight as they welcome the Buffalo Sabres to town. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Bruins managed 12 shots on net for the game in a 6-2 loss to Tampa Bay on Saturday night. The NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament field of 68 was revealed last night. Auburn is the overall number one seed this year. The other top seeds are Duke, Houston, and Florida. The Final Four takes place in San Antonio on April 5th and 7th. Celtics swept their road back-to-back in Miami and Brooklyn over the weekend. They play the Nets again Wednesday night, this time at TD Garden. In NFL news, Cincinnati Bengals wideouts Jamar Chase and T. Higgins told Fox Sports over the weekend both of them have agreed to contract extensions. Chase has signed a 4-year, $161 million deal. Higgins has gotten a 4-year, $115 million extension. The Red Sox got another good outing from opening day starter Garrett Crochet yesterday in a 6-5 win over Minnesota in Fort Myers. Crochet allowed 1 run and struck out 7 in 4 innings of work. Sox play Baltimore at JetBlue Park today. And the Dodgers and Chicago Cubs kick off the Major League Baseball season tomorrow in Japan. Mookie Betts will miss that one and the game on Wednesday with an illness. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT booting up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that. Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fence and having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Town Fair Tires Studios, 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and we are there live. My mom does it, but she can't see what you say, which is good, I suppose.
She can't see what you say?
Yeah, because she's not a member of YouTube.
Oh, that's right. You got to be a YouTube person to view the comments.
Yeah.
Comment. Yeah.
Or maybe you have to subscribe to look at this. Whatever you have to do, she doesn't do.
Yeah.
So that's going for her. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I hope everyone had a tremendous weekend. What a weekend it was, as it will start getting cold again. But I'm off to Palm Beach, Florida on Thursday, where my son and I will be going to the beautiful spring training. My son, who was here on Friday because he was playing football on Thursday on cement and tripped on a kid's foot on cement and then hit his knee, and his knee blew up, and I had to take him to emergency care. Someone emailed me, and they said, or urgent care, rather. And they're like, oh, you're going to urgent care. If it's so urgent, why'd you have him sit in studio for 40 minutes waiting? And to that, I would say it's called urgent care because that's what it's called. And he needed an x-ray. And it didn't matter if I got the x-ray at 9:20 or 10 o'clock, but I wanted to get the x-ray before 6 o'clock at night when he would have gotten home from school. That's was my. I didn't email the guy back, and I didn't even think it was like a dickish email or anything. I didn't think it was anything of it, but I just thought it was an interesting thing. What'd What would be the difference if I left work at 9:20, if I got there at 9:30 or 10 o'clock? If I was going to be at work until 4 or 5, then I would have left and gotten him in there. But I'll tell you, we went to the urgent care across the street, and we were only there for like an hour and 45 minutes.
Nice.
Which is pretty good considering he got an X-ray.
Yeah.
And so, and that was, I felt, because I got in there, you know, you got to be in the right state of mind, because there's some people that are very combative at the urgent care. They're combative with the person behind the desk, and you realize that person is without power. And if they have any power, I wouldn't be combative with them. So, because if they are wielding power, then I would try to get them on my side. But I sat down. I was prepared to wait all day if I had to. I had nothing else to do. And lo and behold, there you go. I was able to get out in an hour, under 2 hours. So there you have it.
More importantly, how's Milo?
So he didn't have a break. The doctor didn't think that he had any ligament damage. Like he certainly didn't tear, break, his knee was in place. So then it just so happens that my ex-wife has a friend whose husband is a big fan of the show, apparently.
Oh.
But is a orthopedist.
Oh.
So they went over there on Friday, and he looked at the knee, and he concurred with the doctor that it didn't seem like there was, because I guess you can tell if there's like an ACL or an MCL, like you can feel the knee move, like it's dislodged. And they said not to worry about it. And now I haven't seen him for 2 days. We're estranged. No, I haven't. His mom had him, and he was gone. I saw my daughter on Saturday, but I didn't see either of them yesterday, which was actually quite nice. But but apparently he's got a knee brace, and apparently the guy doesn't think that he needs to get a MRI necessarily, and Milo it hurts to put weight on it, and he can't bend the knee all the way, but it doesn't really hurt anymore. And the swelling has gone down. So we're betting on, I've been told he doesn't need an MRI. That's what I've been told.
Good news.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blind Scott's on the line, though, by the way, if you wanted to know.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thanks.
So I figure in Nick doesn't even have to put in he put in Blind Scott, but I don't even need to see Blind Scott because I know the name on the account. It's not his, but there is a name there's a female name on his account.
I thought you had the number memorized already.
Yeah.
Popping up as much as it does.
Yeah, but Blind Scott says he knows the best time to get into the emergency room. So if we ever need that call in the next 4 hours, we can pick it up.
Thanks for the knee update, but what about that finger of yours? You get a stitch thrown in that or what?
I have not, and I was at the dog park yesterday, and it just started squirting blood again. So that was good. I stabbed my.
Come on, man.
You know those. Sorry, dude. You know those Mio things that you can put in water and it makes them flavored?
Yeah.
I was taking a kitchen knife. Was it cut on? It was cut on Friday, right? So I did it Thursday.
You told us how this happened.
Yeah. So I was sitting there and I was trying to get the little seal off of it, and I was using a kitchen knife in a stabbing motion down, which is what you want to do. And I was on the phone, and I jammed it into my finger, and I did hit bone. But it's not so hard on your finger, like on your knuckle, to hit bone. And it was bleeding, and then I put a Band-Aid on it. But, yeah, that's not healing. No, not healing. And it's where my finger bends. So that's going to keep busting up. So there you have it.
Yeah, it's never going to heal. You're gonna have to go to those wound clinics that they advertise on daytime TV. For the oldsters that have wounds that just won't heal.
I've never seen one of those, and I watch daytime television.
Well, you got to watch Andy Griffith.
Now, what channel is Andy Griffith on?
Sundance.
Oh, Sundance.
Yeah.
Oh, it's considered art. Carrie, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello, Carrie.
Hey, so, Fred, my daughter plays softball, and she just sprained her MCL, making a nice play at first. She kind of hyperextended her knee, stretching for the ball, did the splits, but it was the same thing. They said it was just the MCL sprain, and her her strength and conditioning coach and stuff. They're just doing treatments like the laser treatments and got a knee brace on it, and she's taking like a couple weeks off.
She's got, what, 2 weeks off?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. That sounds about right. That sounds about what he did. Yeah, thank you. But, yeah, this is never going to heal. This is going to, when it bleeds. I'm joking about squirting blood, but it bleeds enough where my hand, I was at the dog park, and I dared to move my hand without a Band-Aid on. And by the time I got out of the woods where the dog park is, my hand was covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like completely covered in blood. So, but I have a Band-Aid on it now, so don't worry. And my hepatitis, they say, is not overly contagious. So I'll just touch your faces a couple times to see if I can get it. I have hepatitis A, B, and C, so I will just rub that on you as much as I can.
The blood loss is a concern just for, consciousness and all that. But the infection will soon set in. That's what worries me more than anything.
I have cleaned this wound like you wouldn't believe. It hurts too much to put water on it, but Neosporin all over.
It's not. Don't you remember watching MASH? Don't you have to irrigate? Didn't they? Weren't they always the irrigating wounds on MASH?
I was too lost in the sensitivity of Alan Alda, and especially when they had to strangle that kid on the bus, and he turned it into a chicken in his brain.
Last episode, that's right.
Yeah, that was a hell of a way to go out.
That wasn't the last episode.
I think that was the last episode. The episode opens with Alan Alda, locked down in the funny farm there, and how did he get there? Because he
smothered our baby.
That's right. He told the woman to smother a chicken because the enemy was about the bus they were around, and it turns out he had thought it was a chicken, but it turned out it was a baby.
Well, no, that's not.
Not thought it was a chicken, but he imagined it as a chicken.
Yes. To deal with the guilt, he had turned it into a chicken into his brain.
Yes,
and the therapist got him to get through it.
That's the last. That's how they decided to end that series.
He started on the funny farm. He wound up back in the 407 7th by the end of the episode. Yes.
Well, yeah, and then they take the helicopter out of there. But that is the last episode. It got MASH, like right away, got very, very, very sad and boring. The great thing about the sex symbol of that period, and this is talked about on this show before, is you were going to be most likely Jewish. You were going to have a hairy chest. You weren't going to be overly good looking, and you were going to therapy, baby. You were going to therapy like you had Elliot Gould and Woody Allen and Alan Alda.
Timothy Hutton.
Timothy Hutton was he was like the boy genius of that crew.
Well, Ordinary People is a movie about going to therapy.
No, yeah, well, every movie, Kramer versus Kramer, is like they go to therapy. Like everything was going to therapy. It's just it was the biggest thing, and then like women would just masturbate to guys in therapy. That was the whole thing. The idea that Elliot Gould was a leading man is just the greatest. Bill Murray was a leading man. And in this Lorne Michaels book, the audience, when he took over for Chevy Chase, the audience would send in letters about how dare they put such an ugly guy for Chevy Chase because Chase thought Chevy Chase was so handsome.
Yeah.
So he was pockmarked. He had almost like a sagging face, and he was able to be a leading man. Like in Stripes, he has like a hot girlfriend in the beginning, and then he bangs like the hotter of the two chicks when they're the MPs. Like the suspension of disbelief back then, what a time to be alive. Yeah. The late 70s, early 80s. I mean, you could be a real dog. Even for women, Gilda Radner, who's wasn't attractive at all. She was delightful, but not really classically attractive. No. She was banging everyone under the sun.
Yes, and everyone was in love with her.
In love with her, like Dan Aykroyd, and Dan Aykroyd was a handsome guy like back then. And she had everyone.
I'm going through Alan Alda's IMDb right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a much bigger fan of Alan Alda than I ever knew. When you stop and think about it. Now,
he's been in a bunch of stuff. He did The West Wing at the end. He did a lot of things. Yeah.
Not coincidentally, one of his last roles that I saw him in, he was on Ray Donovan playing a therapist. But the movies that he's been in. We'll start, and I just mentioned this one last week, The Four Seasons. Oh, what a delightful movie. I enjoy it. I'll watch it every time it's on. Sweet Liberty, which I was just thinking about yesterday.
Which one is Sweet Liberty?
Michelle Pfeiffer plays an actress that Alan Alda falls in love with. They come to town to film a historical drama about the Revolutionary War. And he wrote the actual book that they're basing the film on.
Okay.
And that's Sweet Liberty.
Right.
Betsy's Wedding, another absolute delight of a film with Molly Ringwald. She plays Betsy. He's the father of the bride.
Have you seen any of these?
No.
No, neither have I. I've never even heard of them.
The Aviator.
Nope.
Howard Hughes.
I've heard of
the
that
Leonardo DiCaprio. You had never seen the
Heard
Aviator.
of that one, yeah.
How about What Women Want with Mel Gibson?
I know that movie, but I haven't seen it.
What role is he at?
He plays Helen Hunt's boss.
In the in the
They're
Howard
both
Hughes,
of their bosses.
in the Howard Hughes movie, he plays a jar of urine that is
no.
around the room
That's
when he was
interesting.
making the
He
spruce.
plays-
Very good actor to do that.
Senator, corrupt senator.
The best thing about Howard Hughes is the jars of urine. They found him with a big long beard. He was building a wooden plane and jars of urine all over the room.
That Alan Alda, what an actor.
Murder at 1600. He was in that movie with
I
Wesley
did.
Yeah, I
Snipes.
only saw that once.
That's
Yeah,
another
he
one.
turns
that I
out to be the
haven't
bad guy at the end. I don't want
He's
to spoil
play-
it for anybody.
Sneaky good bad guy, Alan Alda.
Yeah.
Should we get together and have an Alan Alda Film Festival this weekend? Or you're gone this weekend, Fred.
Yeah.
Next weekend, can we do it?
I mean, if West Newton Cinema, I bet you if you told them you wanted to do that, they would just go can do.
Just charge a lot of admission.
No, they would just say if it's Alan Alda, they can sell it to their audience. That would be the biggest thing they ever did. Alan Alda movie marathon.
I can't believe you guys haven't seen The Aviator.
No, I'm aware of it, but I have not seen it. No. You know, I've only been to one movie with my daughter this year, one or two. And remember last year I went to 53
That's all
movies.
you did.
The movies have been so bad that I won't give them my money. Like, I'm not going to give any of those my money.
We watched, did you see Heretic in the theaters?
What? I don't know what it is.
It's one
Hugh
of
Grant.
one of my favorites, Hugh Grant. This is not a British rom-com though.
Is it good, Hardy? I wanted to see that film.
Is it is it a horror movie?
Kind of, yeah,
Yeah, I never
psychological
seen it.
horror. Yeah, it's good.
No.
The three people who actually spend time in my house watched that together on Saturday night. The girl was gone all weekend. All weekend she was gone, starting Friday right after school up until last night when she came home from the parade and the hockey game, which her school lost to Bill Ricca in double overtime.
Oh, that's too bad.
At the Garden, big tilt. And
Yeah.
it fell short. So as the first I'd seen her pretty much all weekend, and then she wanted to skip her first two classes this morning. And I said, absolutely not. She was. I've never seen her so puzzled as to why I answered so definitively and quickly as to why she would not be able to skip her first two classes today because she was so tired. I'm like, no kidding. You haven't been home. You haven't slept. You have been, just, quote unquote partying, but having fun all weekend.
Right.
So this is now you have to go to school tomorrow. And she doesn't understand why. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person for making her do that. Okay. All right.
But I'm impressed that you let her go to the parade.
Okay, so all your kids jump off a bridge. You have to as seniors, apparently they all do. And a lot of parents were like we were last year, said, no, you're not going to the frickin' parade. Are you out of your mind? But as seniors, they all go.
You know what kids do now and then will break is that they go on spring break and their parents come. Like the group of kids come. This is like a very, very, very common. They go on spring break to like Cancun and they stay at like a resort and a group of parents go too. And the kids, I guess, are allowed to like do whatever they want. Like, they can go have sex and like drink and stuff, but the parents are there.
So I wonder if that's a function of how expensive it is now. Because when we went on spring break, I was a senior in high school and I went once in college too. We went to places that were so dirt cheap. We went to Daytona Beach when I was a senior in high school and stayed in some motel that, 6 of us slept in a room, and it cost us $20 each a night. Like, I don't know if those places exist anymore. So if you want to go on spring break, maybe you have to go with your parents because otherwise you can't afford to.
Well, if you were a parent, that's just more money. It's just you're spending for.
I'm not doing it.
No, I know. Like Milo's friends next year will be seniors. He has a bunch of friends, so I'll let him go to spring break. It doesn't sound like I wouldn't let him go out of the country. I don't think by himself, but I'd let him go to Florida or something like that. And I just was like, I don't want to go with him. I don't want to go around and like see a bunch of annoying kids all effed up. I don't want to do that.
We're late, but I'll tell you one more thing that we can get into later. You know what else is also a thing that I never knew about? The girls' graduation trip.
Oh.
The girls and their moms. They all go on a trip together. My wife told me this. I'm like, huh? She goes, yeah, there's a meeting tonight about where we're going. I'm like, who's going? What are you talking about? What's happening?
That's in addition to spring break?
After they graduate, the girls, the friend group and their moms, they all go on a trip together. Like, since when? Where are you going? What are the boy and I going to do? Talk to each other? Hang out with just the two of us and the dog?
You'll be able to mow the lawn.
How long is the trip for? Like 3 days, 4 days? Is it a week?
They're going out of country.
Are they really?
Yes.
Where are they going?
Wow.
I think they're going to the Dominican.
It's a weird place to go that time of year.
In June?
Go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
I know. They should go to Puerto Rico.
Another reason to get a hold of Daniel.
I don't understand any of this. I'm like, you guys are all out of your mind. I said, is it free? Is the school? Is this like a school-sponsored event? What are you people talking about? You're all insane. It's insanity.
Well,
I have nothing to say about it.
I think it's fun.
Except for that.
Yeah.
Except for that last minute and a half.
Ignore your father. Come over here.
Yes, I did see the picture of Bill Belichick, and I did put it on Instagram. No, I don't wish that was me. I don't. You can stop Belichick fans with that. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. I'm fine.
You're jealous.
Yeah. It was his idea to do that.
Yeah.
He desperately wanted to do that. Quick, Jordan, over here. We got to do this.
And if I had Jordan, boy, I'd hold on with both hands. I wouldn't. What do I know? I mean, I'm abstinent. I could never get anyone of that, of anywhere near that intense, incredible beauty. Would be well beyond my capacities. Ugh. All right, but we will talk about it, but don't worry. I'm going to make you wait. But today we have Al Cole and Guy from Machine in our six-man contest. And that will be starting around 7:45. So
Not
look out for
soon
that.
enough.
And also, Scal lost his mind over the weekend. Thank you to Esoteric for sending that to me. We'll be back with everything that happened last night.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Beetle from iRam Dealer, 495 Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
it.
We are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR.
Well, events unfolded last night. Everybody was watching to see what would transpire, and of course, it's going to create all kinds of conversation today.
That close to the win. Oh, wow. That just coming up a couple rotations, maybe short.
That, of course, J.J. Spawn trying to roll in a birdie putt on 18, coming up just an inch or two shy. That forces a 3-hole playoff today against Rory McIlroy at TPC Sawgrass.
Did he say dynamite?
Oh, because he's J.J.?
J.J. Spawn.
That's right. He did.
He's the spawn of J.J. Walker.
That's right.
You see? Mm-hmm. So he would say dynamite. And he would be a very talented painter, too.
9 a.m., boys. Do whatever you want here on the show. I'll be watching the television set.
Don't put it on, Nicholas. Hide the remotes.
He's not even listening.
Who is J.J. Spawn? Seriously.
A golfer.
Oh, you have no idea.
He's won, I think he won once in Texas or something.
Okay. Yeah, one of those Texas ones.
Seems a decent sort.
Now, what tournament was this?
That was Players' Championship.
Fifth major, Fred.
Players'
Championship.
It's pretty much the fifth major. Yeah, which I didn't believe in really until the last couple of years. It's a big deal.
Players' Championship's the one with the island green, right?
Yes.
At the end?
Yes, 17.
17, the island green.
That's
yes.
right.
It really is a big deal. I mean, if J.J. Spawn's in it. And also, I can't stop hearing about it before you just did that. I do keep my eye on sports a little bit, and I had no idea that event was taking place.
What were you watching yesterday?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm always watching TV. So that's I was
ditto.
That's a good question. When was it on? I'll tell you exactly what I was watching.
Well, that's the thing. It was on pretty much all day because they were trying to get ahead of the weather. So they started coverage at 10 a.m., went on for a few hours. There was a couple-hour lapse in the middle where it was raining 2 hours, but then it picked up again at 5 and went till, 7 last night or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was on for a long time. All right. No, we're talking about the brackets here a lot today. And, okay, so Auburn is your overall number 1 seed. Duke is another 1 seed, but they are second overall, however, favored to win it all. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But I think that one of the bigger stories is the inclusion of North Carolina in the tournament at all.
Well, that has to be a typo. North Carolina can't possibly be in this NCAA tournament field because they had ample opportunities to improve their resume. The fact that West Virginia is not with 6 quad 1 wins and North Carolina is with 1, and if they thought so highly of the ACC, how is an 18-win Louisville team an 8 seed? And this is an example of why we don't need to expand the tournament. To me, it's about being elite. This North Carolina team is not elite.
Yeah, they went 1-13 or they went 1-12 rather in quad 1 against the best teams. They lost. They had a chance in the ACC tournament to really get into the tournament by beating a Cooper flagless Duke team, and they couldn't do that.
Yeah, they were down 21 and came all the way back and lost at the buzzer.
Yeah, and West Virginia, West Virginia beat Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas, and Iowa. They went 10-10 in the Big 12. Louisville, like they just said, is in the ACC. They're an 8 seed. They had 15 combined quad 1 and quad 2 wins. And I'll tell you this, it's very, very bad optics because the guy who hired Bill Belichick, the AD, athletic director of North Carolina, is the president of this selection committee. But he recused himself while they were talking of North Carolina.
Sure,
so
that's right. Of course.
There was nothing hanging over the group at all. There was.
You're talking about Howard, Bubba, Mr. C, Cunningham.
You guys go to great lengths to make sure there are no conflicts of interest. You are the athletic director of the University of North Carolina in your day job, so it's going to be a natural question whether North Carolina may have gotten a little bit of an advantage that their AD is a chair.
Well, thanks, Seth, and obviously I'm going to defer that. But, all the policies and procedures were followed, and Keith can address exactly how North Carolina was discussed, because I was not in the room for any of that.
No, he was in the room for all the other 67 teams. He was just not in for that particular one. I mean, it's such a glaring mistake. In North Carolina, if they were any other team, they wouldn't have made it. If they were any other team, they wouldn't have made it.
Correct.
Like it's
Correct.
Because they're North Carolina.
Yeah.
In the selection committee wants them in the tournament, even though they suck.
Yeah,
Like
Boston College had that resume, they wouldn't have made it.
No, I mean, look at Louisville in the same conference. They are an 8th seed.
Yeah.
And then the big thing is West Virginia. As I went over, and there's a couple other teams too that should have made it that didn't. Texas shouldn't have made the tournament. They weren't supposed to make the tournament. North Carolina at least was a bubble team because people realized they want North Carolina in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Texas was they were. I heard a guy on Mad Dog talking about how they were going to fire the coach because he wasn't going to make the tournament, and now they somehow got in. It's weird. But I thought Jay Billis, who I don't like because I've heard he's an ass in real life, and he seems a little pompous on even considering he doesn't even call the tournament games. But the thing about him is that he said it doesn't matter if you expand the tournament, go ahead. No one's going to watch those games, and none of those teams are going to win. So North Carolina is going to play that play-in game. They could lose the play-in game, and then even if they move on, they're going to lose. No one's going to watch the play-in game, so there you have it. Good for North Carolina.
North Carolina is actually favored in that game.
I bet you they lose that game.
San Diego State.
And, the big news is that over the weekend, John, front row and center, at the Bryant 11 a.m. championship game on Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday.
On Saturday, 11 a.m. championship game. John's there. The Bryant Bulldogs are taking on the Michigan State Spartans. It's a 2-15.
Yep.
That will be happening. John, are you going to? That's in Cleveland, right?
It is. It's Cleveland on Friday night.
Are you going to be there?
It does not appear that way.
Well, now we got to wait out the rest of the drum roll.
Oh, sorry. I could have built it up a little more. It does not appear that way. I had conversations with the school yesterday. If it seems like the only way it was going to happen is if Bryant was put in Providence. And
so the athletic budget could not cover you going to call the game.
Apparently not.
So they're saying that they can't afford a ticket, a round trip ticket to Cleveland.
Cleveland plus the hotel room, no.
Well, I mean, Cleveland's notorious for. I mean, it's going to be outrageous what those hotel rooms are,
the price
especially
gouging.
Price gouging for the first round of the NCAA
Yep.
tournament.
Yep.
And at 10 o'clock at night on Friday, that arena is going to be. I mean, good luck getting in.
Jammed.
I mean there might be. Say that arena holds 12,000 people. What do you think? 4,000 for that game? 5,000 for that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By that time of night.
Is there anything bigger that's going to happen to Bryant University's athletics this year?
No. The answer is no. Because do they even have a football team?
Yes.
All right.
They do.
Their football team does not play Division I football.
It does.
It does?
It does.
They're
Division I across the board.
So Bryant Bulldog football could play in the college football tournament against like Georgia.
No. They're an FCS school. Not an
Yeah.
FCS.
All right. So Jesus, John.
They're Division I though. Yes.
FCS, John. That's not. Come on.
Technically Division I.
Get in the spirit of things. They're an FCS. Jesus Christ. I was going to say, Brian, someone would get hurt.
No.
I mean, like you can't do that. Someone would get killed. All right. So anyway, the question is if this is the biggest thing, Brian. Yeah, by a million.
And they're just not going to bother with a trip to Cleveland.
No.
Right, because that's so expensive.
Why have a team? Why have teams? If you're not going to pay attention to your team,
or why have you do the regular season games?
The way it was. I haven't done radio for 4 or 5 years. I've done ESPN+ plus for them, and they don't have commercial radio. The students will do it, but not commercial radio.
Oh, okay.
They haven't had commercial radio for the last 4 or 5 years. So
they'll have the students fly out there and do the game.
I don't know even if the students are going out, to be honest with you. But
well, at least you didn't take a job from a kid, because that would have been horrendous.
No.
That would have been Bronny James like.
No.
But
a 215 upset could
Middle Tennessee State.
It could have happened in Michigan State.
I remember where I was. I was in Key West, and Middle Tennessee State beat that Michigan State team. And that Michigan State team, I think, had 3 NBA players on it, including Jaren Jackson.
This team doesn't have really an NBA player on it, correct?
No, they have a first round, a kid that would go in the first round.
Yeah, he's projected like 30th.
He's not going to come out, but yeah, because his dad played in the NBA.
The spread is 18.5. I saw it 18.5 in a lot of different places. I like Bryant to cover. I think they will give Michigan State. It won't be easy. Bryant will be annoying for the entire game.
Okay, but you made the statement to me in private that Bryant runs a lot, and to that I said, well, you have no idea what Michigan State does, because Michigan State has more fast break points. I think they're in the top 10 in the nation.
I'm looking at pace. Bryant is in the top 10 in the nation in possessions per game. So they also are in the top 5 in team blocks per game. They're in the top 30 in scoring. They run. They got a lot of possessions, and defensively they're very good. I think they're top 10 in the country in rebounding too. So
what's the breakdown of that Bryant team's height?
They have their starting 5 is 6'6", 6'6", 6'8", 6'8", and 6'10".
Okay,
it's not one of those mid-major teams that has a 5'10" point guard. They are interchangeable on defense. It's unusual for their level.
Michigan State, it's all defense and rebounding. They can't shoot, so defense and rebounding, they will suffocate Bryant.
They shot for like 4 minutes at the start of the second half against Wisconsin on Saturday, and after that, they turned back into who they are.
Well, that was a bad beat. That game, because the kid was fouled on the 3-pointer at the end of that game.
I do not believe he was.
I do. You got to call it. You at least got to call it.
It was all ball. What is there to call?
A foul. It's at the end of the game. You called a foul.
When there's no foul, but he took a shot and it was blocked, so it must have been a foul.
Were you watching it in real time?
Of course, I thought he was fouled in real time.
Well, there you go. Then,
but
then he was. All right,
Bryan College don't lie.
Lost to Siena.
Yeah.
Stonehill, St. Bonaventure. They lost to Brown.
They played one high major.
Yeah, they won to St. John's. They lost 99-77.
They were down. They were down 3 with 14 minutes to go. And the reason I think that Bryant could cover against Michigan State, the spread on that St. John's game was 21.5. And St. John's needed a 3 in the last minute.
Can you explain how they lost by 56 points to Grand Canyon?
Tournament team, Fred. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Religious school.
Were they playing in the Grand Canyon?
No, they were actually. They were playing in the Grand Canyon.
Were there echo issues?
It was on the road. No, the St. John's game, they were without their best player. And we're in it. Conference Player of the Year, Earl Timberlake, didn't play that game. And against Grand Canyon, they were missing their top scorer.
Fear not, at UMass Lowell, on the road, victory 79-78.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
that was key near the end of the season. That enabled them to clinch the top overall seed.
I can hear you throwing a little shade on that, but that was a trap game.
Yeah, I mean, really, because they were looking ahead to Maine, is who they had to play again in the conference championship.
That's right.
Exactly.
But there are no slouches in the semifinal. They played University of Albany. Now, look. I kid because obviously Bryant should get killed, but this is again happened. Middle Tennessee State beat a better Michigan State team on paper.
I'm telling you, Bryant's going to be annoying all evening. They're not going to get blown out of this game. They're good enough to hang in there for a while.
And you don't think Michigan State has a coaching advantage at all with
Michigan State has a massive coaching advantage. Michigan State has been picked by more than one expert to go to the Final Four. I'm not crazy.
By this expert in November, I picked.
I'm not crazy enough to say Bryant can beat this team. What I am saying is that Bryant will cover the 18.5.
When we return, we will hear Bryant's own coach praising Tom
Phil
Izzo.
Martello Jr. Yes,
and also you boys will guess who so far, and people filling out their brackets, whom they have selected as their winners in order. I have the top 6 selections right now.
I know who's won. There's no doubt about
but
it.
do you know who did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Probably.
We'll see if you do.
Yeah, I got my
I
got my finger on the pulse.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins will play Buffalo at TD Garden tonight. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. March Madness begins tomorrow night in Dayton, Ohio, with 2 nights of play-in games. The top 4 seeds this year are Auburn, Duke, Houston, and Florida. Celtics off until Wednesday night when they wrap up a home-and-home with Brooklyn. And the Red Sox beat Minnesota yesterday 6-5 in Fort Myers. Garrett Crochet, great outing, 4 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Shaws and Star Market Foundation and the Feeding the Puck for Families, which has raised over $25,000 to help fight food insecurity in our communities. Learn how they're assisting the Greater Boston Food Bank at 985thesportshub.com/feedthepuck. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back on the Sports Hub.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life.
Many offers become an insider.
The ironic thing is, when I got the job here back last year, one of the first phone calls I got was from Tom Izzo. I think it was Thursday in the morning. My phone rang, and it was
not good.
All right, so that's Phil Martelli, as Wallach said, and you got him the job there in Michigan, or the whatever. I don't know. He knows Tom Izzo. Okay,
yes,
great.
Yes,
that's great. Who have people picked the most to win? On the ESPN bracket page, they have 6 teams listed here, starting with number 1, who have more people picked than any other team to win it all.
Duke.
That is correct.
It's easy. Yeah.
All right. With 25.7% of the people filling out brackets so far have picked Duke to win it all. Who has the second most?
Auburn. Oh, no. People?
Yeah.
Not experts. People?
People.
Oh, boy.
Florida.
Yeah, I'd say Florida, too.
Florida is correct.
Yeah.
Then Auburn. Then you've got 3 teams with less than 10% of the overall vote.
St. John's.
That is correct. They are number 5.
Yeah.
I'd say people pick Michigan State.
That is correct, with 4.4% and with 8.6% of the brackets picking Houston as the champion.
I've not seen Houston play this year. I cannot pretend.
No.
Okay.
So that's that. There you go. All right. Some NFL movement over the weekend, or at least signings with the Bengals coming to an agreement with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So this was something that was.
Did Burrow end up redoing his contract at all? Did he end up like finagling anything with that? Because if he hasn't, I mean,
how do they do that?
Well, I know how they do it is they just give those 3 players all the money, because Burrow was making $50 million a year.
He just agreed to a contract extension in January. 3 years, $135 million. I don't know the structure.
They must have restructured some things around because
Yeah.
he was taking up a huge chunk of that cap. But it's interesting is that you've invested entirely. First of all, it's just funny that T. Higgins took a contract that's so much less than Jamar Chase, even though Jamar Chase is obviously a lot better, in that they signed like right at the same time. Burrow's obviously running that franchise, and they're a cash poor franchise, and all their money now is their defense is sucked last year. The defense is going to suck this year,
and they're trying to get rid of their best pass rusher, the guy who led the NFL in sacks this past season.
But you know why they're doing that? It actually logically makes sense because their defense sucked with them. So I guess their point was, well, they didn't do anything that I'm aware of in free agency, but the point was that their defense sucked with them. So maybe take that money and invest it all over the board. But at least that's like a piece of logic. But that's what's going on, is that they are going to be – I bet you they don't make the playoffs next year. Go ahead.
I'm much more interested. I don't know if you were heading in this direction about Aaron Rodgers.
So the latest on Aaron Rodgers is that there's interest – regarding Minnesota. Now, does Minnesota have any interest in Aaron Rodgers?
No,
or is Aaron Rodgers trying to drum up interest from Minnesota?
We talked about this on Friday. Bert told me all this off the air, is that J.G. McCarthy's been hurt. He's down to like 175 pounds. They're a little concerned about him. They are interested in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is waiting for Kevin O'Connell to make his decision. Kevin O'Connell is obviously in no rush to do that, because why benefit anyone else? So the Steelers and the Giants are just sitting in this limbo while Kevin O'Connell decides if he wants to bring in Aaron Rodgers. Kevin O'Connell's not going to get fired. They just redid his deal. There's no way he would get fired. He's the coach that could take it. But I would, if I owned the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell took Aaron Rodgers on, I would question my decision to keep Kevin O'Connell around, because Aaron Rodgers, A, is not good anymore, and B, is a real problem. And so that Vikings team, I would not go into the season with Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. And I also wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers being the mentor for J.J. McCarthy.
That's a more pressing issue. And J.J. McCarthy is going to be ready at some point. The idea is to play him this season What you want is a placeholder who's good enough. That's why they wanted Daniel Jones, who is good enough to maybe start 2 or 3 games, but then has no problem moving aside. That's not Aaron Rodgers. So I don't want Aaron Rodgers on that team. If I'm Minnesota, I want nothing to do with that guy.
No, and then I wouldn't want to, but I'm telling you, if the Steelers get him, he's going to get Tomlin fired. I heard a guy from Pittsburgh on the radio on Saturday, and he was talking about how over half that fan base wants Tomlin gone already. And if they bring in Aaron Rodgers, they're not making the playoffs, and then he'll get fired for sure. And obviously, Daboll and the general manager over there in New York will get fired, no matter really what happens. Unless they draft a kid and Cam Ward falls to them and they can say that we're developing Cam Ward. But if they bring in Aaron Rodgers and they win, I mean, the Jets won 5 games. The Jets are a better team than the Giants. They won 5 games with Aaron Rodgers. The Giants probably win 5 because the coaching's better.
Yeah.
And then that gets everyone fired. And then there you go. Congratulations, Aaron Rodgers. You got another coach fired, which will be your 3rd.
In 3 years.
No, you got Saleh fired. You were going to get Daboll fired, and then you got what's-his-face fired in Green Bay, McCarthy. In Green Bay. So good for you. That's what you do is you go around and get people fired. What a career. I don't know why the NFL had their tongue hangings out for this guy. They're so cutthroat in every other thing that they do. And Aaron Rodgers just has them all like seduced.
And they're so quick to point out when a player has lost it. But with Aaron Rodgers, there's no shortage of people romanticizing what he was and trying to project that onto him now. And he's not that anymore. He's not.
And they're like, well, he was coming off an ACL, and that's hard. It can take over a year. Yeah. Okay, well, he's coming off 3 more injuries. So, and by the way, he was playing hurt last year. Yeah, he was playing hurt. He got hurt in games. That's going to happen again. Every argument for Aaron Rodgers is wrong. I know the Jets were boring and not a lot of people watched their games, but I did. And he was terrible. Absolutely terrible. You saw him play arguably his best game. And that wasn't so great either. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Brian Scalabrini is on the prowl, and he's very heavy. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
FanDuel is turning the excitement up even higher for college basketball through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Bet on the lowest winning seed of the day.
Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins and Buffalo Sabres play tonight at TD Garden as the Bees now have 14 games left in their season. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament field was revealed last night. Auburn is the overall number 1 seed. The other top seeds are Duke, Houston, and Florida. The Final Four will take place in San Antonio on April 5th and 7th. Celtics swept their road back-to-back over the weekend. They played the Brooklyn Nets for the second time in as many games on Wednesday night, this time at TD Garden. In NFL news, Cincinnati wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins told Fox Sports over the weekend both of them have agreed to contract extensions. Chase has signed a 4-year, $161 million contract. Higgins has gotten a 4-year, $115 million deal. And the Red Sox got another really good outing from opening day starter Garrett Crochet yesterday. They beat Minnesota in Fort Myers 6-5. Crochet allowed 1 run and struck out 7 in 4 innings of work. The Sox play Baltimore at JetBlue Park this afternoon. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the new Daytime Deals menu at the 99. Available Monday through Saturday until 5 p.m. Enjoy new specials like the flatbread combos or the Vermont cheddar chicken sandwich. You gotta love the 9s. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub. What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Don't look for much coming out of breaks in terms of music today because Adam is insisting on playing all Irish bands on St. Patrick's Day.
How could I not?
Well, you could, but just not doing it.
I think people would be upset if I did.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad bands being played.
Not this one. Stiff Little Fingers are all right.
In High Fidelity, when the guy is hitting on Melissa Gilbert, the lady, or maybe it's not Melissa Gilbert isn't her name. Maybe that's the lady from Little House on the Prairie. But when the guy's hitting on the girl from Roseanne, and she asks for Green Day, and he says Green Day were influenced by 2 bands, The Clash and Stiff Little Fingers. And I'm thinking there's a lot that happened between Green Day and Stiff Little Fingers.
If you don't play Thin Lizzy at some point today, you're doing it wrong.
I'll play them. That's fine.
Oh, that'd be too obvious.
A little jailbreak later on, Hardy?
Well, yeah, straight off the Rock 92.9 playlist.
There you go.
So yesterday, Esoteric sent me a video, of course, part of the Czarface collective that is touring and putting out albums all the time. They're very popular. They have very famous fans. He loves doing podcasts. He can't get enough. And he's a real good guy. But he sent me this thing. So there is a guy named George the Messiah, and he is according to Sports Illustrated, a famous social media basketball player and influencer.
Yeah.
So George the Messiah is he's got 123,000 followers. I think Esso told me that he was at one point a cab driver, and now he plays basketball. And I'm sure everyone knows who he is, but me. Let's talk about a few things. So Brian Scalabrini got called out by the guys, so he showed up to this place, The Cage, which is an outdoor court in Manhattan. Brian was calling that Brooklyn game in Brooklyn, the Celtics-Brooklyn game that night.
Yep.
So Brian came out there, and let's first discuss this. Remember, John, because we used to have Brian on when he was a Celtic all the time, and we would have him on right after he retired, and Brian was, like, obsessed with working out. And even Mike Gorman would talk about how Scal was working out 2 times a day. Remember, he was longboarding in the Pacific Northwest when he was living up there.
Always something active. I remember I was up in Maine, and he had himself a skateboard. He was just kind of tooling around the neighborhood.
Longboarding, yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about surfing.
No. No problem. He was, he was longboarding. He was skateboarding all around, and he was in tremendous shape. He's super fat now. Like fat Brian is. Like, did anyone know he had gotten this fat? It's very hard to see on television.
The funniest comment out of all of them just said wide mamba.
Yeah. I mean, I love Brian, even though, and of course, he played one-on-one with a guy, which means what?
It means that the Scallon just brought up over and over and over again, and I saw at least 2 different videos, might have been 3 different videos of guys saying, well, of course, Scal's done this before. He challenged a bunch of guys to one-on-one 10 years ago, and the picture you see is him going up for a layup over a guy wearing a 98.5 The Sports Hub T-shirt, and there's no mention of the radio station or us at all.
Yeah, one of the great bits in terms of just, it would have been so great to do now because of the way social media is that we had 10 years ago, I guess, we had Brian Scalabrini. He must have just retired, and we had him playing one-on-one against 3 guys. One kid played at Syracuse. I think he was 7 feet tall. There was they all had played at some level.
I remember one kid at Fordham who had gotten a full ride to Fordham, one kid at Syracuse, and I forget, I think the third guy was like a street ball legend in the area.
Yeah, like the guy who did the best, I think, was the street ball guy. But we had this competition, and Scalabrini played him, and about 3 times a year, my kids will go, oh, look, you're on Instagram, because I was calling the game, the Scalage game, and...
Well, we went out there. We tried.
But for what they're showing on it goes viral basically 3 times a year. It gets in my kids' feeds, and of course, there's no mention of the station or the show, which honestly, I swear to God, I don't have a problem with. I just wish they would say a radio station, just to give like radio credit for doing it.
Yes.
Just I swear on a stack of Bibles, it wouldn't really benefit us at all. If it said, the name of the show, or if it said the radio station, I don't care. I just wish they said the medium of radio put this together. It was also on, at the time, Comcast, which was NBC Sports Boston now. But anyway, Scalabrini, who is fat, went and he put on every pound I lost and then some. Now I feel so much more superior. Now I'll play him. Now I'll play him one-on-one. I'll just run him full court. But Scalabrini, he takes on this George the Messiah, and I guess this George the Messiah guy's whole thing is fouling. Because
I did some research. He likes the physical game. You come into the cage, be prepared to get beat up, and so Scal took it upon himself to go, oh yeah.
Yeah, Scal's got about 6. This Messiah guy's not short, but he's like an old kind of like heavier guy, but not as heavy as Scal, who is fat. Let's be honest. So was anyone else shocked? I mean, you had to be shocked.
I saw him in December and didn't notice this. I didn't notice this.
Well, it appears to be somewhat recent because the clothes he's wearing don't fit. And if this were something that had been going on for a while, you would have gotten new sweats, a new T-shirt, new hooping clothes to wear, because it can't be comfortable.
Because
skin tight.
And he's also got like fat guy clothes, like the worst thing you can wear if you're fat, like that gray on gray, like old school sweatsuit. And then he's got a basketball jersey over the sweatshirt, which is, and that's just, it's hugging everything. He's very heavy. It's a little disconcerting. I hope he's okay. I'm not kidding. He's real fat.
You mentioned that.
And
you weren't shocked when you saw it.
I was very surprised. As I said, I saw him a few months ago and didn't notice this.
Like if I saw Brian in person, I wouldn't go like, oh, wow, you got fat. But we're on the radio. This went viral. He looks fat, and everyone thought it when they saw it. There's no way they didn't, and thereby it's fair game.
I was more surprised at how legitimately upset he was and invested in this game.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like a stunt.
We'll get there in a second, but I was not, and I'm sure you weren't either, John. I mean, Brian's incredibly competitive, and he's a great basketball player. I mean, he played forever in the NBA, and here's an example of what Hardy's talking about. There's a crowd of people in this cage. The Messiah guy is fouling the hell out of him, and here's what happens. Oh, is this when Brian elbows him in the face, Ryan? Okay, so the Messiah guy is hanging all over Brian. Brian misses a layup. because he's being fouled. He gets the rebound back. He makes a move, and he catches this influencer guy in the chest with his elbow, or like in the neck with his elbow. And everyone goes foul, foul, foul. And so Brian grabs the microphone.
Let's make some noise for them right here, right now. George the Messiah versus the White Mamba. Let's make some space for them too. Take it to the lane again.
Yep.
Come on, Scout. On some real he fouling me every time, so I said, cool. I'm cool. Oh, man, get off his nuts.
So Brian...
So he's still having fun at this point.
Yeah, like he's like getting off these nuts and people are laughing, but then the guy keeps fouling him.
Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping, bro. Come on, dog. Stop throwing the all over the fence. Wait. Put your hands on me like that. That's what it's going to be. No. I'm not losing. I'm up 3-0. Y'all think I'm sweet. I ain't sweet. I know. Y'all think. Let's go. Nah. Yeah. 30 seconds in between. You can bitch and catch your win all you want. You got 30 seconds. I'm not. Listen, put your hands on me. See what happens. It's only a game. Put your hands on me. I'm going, no, it's not whack. Don't put your hands on me. You're going to foul my ass every time, so that's what it's going to be.
And it's brave of Scal to say, catch your wind, because this Messiah guy is no Adonis, but, I mean, pound for pound.
Only one of the two that I could see in the video has that white frothy thing collecting at the corners of their mouth and on their lips from, I don't know if it's the salt. I don't know if it's the actual, like oils and fats that are pushing their way to the surface. But Scout, not in great shape, appears to be a little dehydrated.
Yeah, and he's ornery.
And also out of breath himself.
And he's ornery because because Scout just is driving and pushing this guy around, and he won, I think 10-0, 11-0, or whatever the hell it was. And by the way, I can see why this is such a big thing on the internet. I mean, like, Jesus.
It's not a great product.
It's not a great product.
No.
You
know what really bothered me? The announcer is on the court, and he's got a microphone out there, and it's like, hey, you can't be out here, sir.
Well, there's like one where they're like, we're doing crazy like street ball stuff, like, and that's fun. But like, the professor, he's everyone thinks he's white, he can't play, and then he goes out there and he jukes you and everything else. Like, and everyone goes, oh wow, like look at the white guy doing great stuff on the playground. But and then you got guys, hoopy dooping and dunking and rocking and rolling, rim shaking, razzle dazzle. But out here, this is just two old fat guys playing,
and not even what I would call basketball.
No, I like that Scal is just overpowering him because this guy obviously is just hanging all over him and he's just fouling the hell out of him.
Right. So if you're going to play bully ball, here's bully ball the way it's played in the NBA. If we're not going to call actual fouls and anything goes, then I can win this game too.
Yeah, and having played Scalabrini where he took it kind of easy on us, there was a play where Scal was coming at me. He wouldn't have hit me. I do like Scal a lot. He's fat, but I do like him a lot. He came at me, and like you realize, what do you think he is, John? 6'9"?
He's 6'9".
6'9", and he was a cut 220, 230.
Yeah, he's about 230, 240 when we played him.
Yeah, but cut, and like when he's and he's a great athlete.
Yeah, he runs.
Say what you will.
Like a deer, can shoot threes.
Right.
We all got a real close view of that.
And when when he's coming at you, I was just like, no, I'm like not even like fun because I know he wouldn't have hurt me, but like because he just would have let up. But I was like, I don't even want to.
Yeah.
Like, so Scal's no joke. Like, he's strong as hell. And obviously, like, a great basketball player.
Yeah, it's all good when you carrying the rifle, right? Until mother shows up like me. That's right. Come on, Joey, let's get it popping over here.
Yeah, the crowd was not on Scal's side, but I'm not quite sure why. I would have been on Scal's side. But that is available on the New York Basketball. At NBA _New York.
Okay.
I'm not losing. I'm up 3-0.
Yeah. And then the guy never got a point off Scal, which was never going to happen, regardless of Scal's weight.
It's only a game.
It's only a game.
Yeah, that's welcome to this generation. It's only a game.
Shows up like me.
Okay.
It's only a game. That's great content. This is content now. It's only a game. Way to sell the thing.
Yeah.
It's only a game. Stop.
Y'all think I'm sweet? I ain't sweet.
No, Brian is one of the most competitive people I've ever met in my entire life. When we did that Scallenge thing with him, he was not joking around. He was not in good humor. He was not having it.
Yeah, he walked in there pissed because this guy sits at the end of the bench. Anyone could beat him, and Scal took it real personal.
But beyond that, I think in order to be at that level of basketball, you have to be that competitive. Sure. Even if you're great, you have to be so competitive.
Did you guys score on him when you played 3-on-1?
No,
yes.
we did. You did.
I know. I got the only basket.
I had
the three of us.
I made a
walk me through it.
He let me score a layup.
Oh.
He was right next to me. We were losing. It was a game to 9 or whatever it was. Let's say it was 9. We were down 7-0. He had blocked all three of us without trying, and then I went in on the right side for a layup, and he was standing right next to me. He could have swatted it into Newton, and he let me score.
Yeah, I got up a left-handed layup. There's three of us against him, so I got a pass going to the rim. I put up a lefty layup, which he would not have blocked, but I got so nervous.
Yeah.
Once it left my hand, I didn't make the layup.
All three of us were nervous as hell. He's like, "Why don't you shoot for who gets the ball first?" They had me shoot it, and I bricked it. I missed from the foul line. I was so scared.
It was on TV and everything.
Oh, it was awful.
It wasn't the the easiest.
But yes, I scored the only point for the three of us that day.
Good for you, Wallach.
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
And
Me
John,
too.
when we did a pitching contest, threw harder than me.
Yes, that's true.
What'd you throw?
Upper 50s.
Yeah,
Low 60s?
I think you might have thrown 61, and I threw
Something like
59. It was not impressive.
Zolak in here on Friday said to you and I both that he could still hit 84.
No, he said 89.
I remember this conversation.
He said he hit 89 at a carnival.
No, he said to Milo, "How hard have you thrown?" And Milo said 84, which Milo says he threw at IMG. And then Scott said 89, and then Milo went, "Oh, no, you didn't." And then Scott said, "I did." And he goes, "Where?" And he goes, "At a carnival."
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, no. Milo said from a crow hop. Maybe Scott did throw 89 from a crow hop, running and then crow hopping.
Oh, yeah, that adds 5 to 10
Yeah, there's a name for
in
that.
In the 90s?
No. But maybe he threw 89 with that gun.
He does.
These radar guns, they're 4 miles an hour here or there. They're all screwed up. All right, look. Believe me, I hate the radar gun. I've had more aggravation from the dumb radar gun in my life. These kids, they go out there, they get to throw 3 pitches, and they're up against this radar gun, and they have heart attacks. It's like pitching a game. Don't worry so much about the radar gun. This is what in the rotation on the ball too. That's another thing. How many rotations? Ugh. It's a problem. I wish that this technology was never invented. I wish you just went out and you pitched.
It's all about spin rate, Fred. All of it. It's all about spin rate.
So annoying, and hand speed and speed off the bat. It's just annoying. It's just so annoying. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. NFL, we'll catch you up with everything that's going on.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, erect.
on the Sports Hub.
Recap. It's fine. You should watch the movie on Netflix. It's fantastic.
Oh, I'll watch it today.
Don't do that.
Oh, stop.
But I have to ask you, if you could pull up any of those krautrock bands.
You want some like Kraftwerk? Or?
No.
Oh yeah.
No, like the real, the real stuff.
Falco.
Right, give me a minute.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah, like the real weird stuff. It's krautrock races. No, it's
I believe
there's no words.
No, the word kraut though is a derogatory term for Germans.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I believe it is.
They call themselves krautrock.
Well, rappers call themselves the N-word.
Yeah, well, are we comparing the two? Who's more? Who has gone through more, black people or Germans?
Well, is this a trick question? It's the Germans. The world wars
that they caused. Like with the that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying, Adam? Because I want you to play it for everyone and then tell them that you like it. Is what I want you to do. Like Tego Mago, Future Days, like that stuff. Like the real to make stressful situations more relaxing. So he created this album that is 4 songs of atmospheric music for airports. And people have listened to it and written about it. All right, that's it for music today. I'm sorry. But I just discovered this krautrock stuff and I was like, this is awful. There's some of the bands very influenced by Middle Eastern music, and so these German guys playing Middle Eastern music. It's not good. All right, look. The NFL is Hardy's very upset that his club's not opening, by the way, until April.
I've heard this.
April 18th? Is that when they're opening?
Yeah. I mean, I'm used to it. It has a lot to do with the aeration schedule that they do. They do it first.
Ramp it up then.
Well, they do it first. And then they wait for the fairways and the greens to come back a little bit, and then they open the course. Pretty much every other course opens. You play for a couple of weeks, then they aerate and have to close for a few days, and then they reopen. So they kind of flip it.
So this weekend you were itching to play golf.
I did play twice last week, but now, someone asked me on Saturday, like, why aren't you playing? I'm like, because everybody's out there playing today. I'm not going to go out there and have a 3-hour 9-hole session. That's gross.
Now, what about pickleball? Like, is this all going to get thrown into the trash?
I'm so glad you asked. So I'm playing later on today.
Good.
And a lot of clubs are closed on Mondays, so I think I'm going to keep the Monday pickleball as a regular thing. So I have something to do on Mondays. What about the other days of the week that I play? I've been playing a minimum, I would say, for 4 or 6 weeks now, 3 times a week, sometimes 4, and a double session on one of those days. So I'll go there and play 2 90-minute sessions back to back.
And did you talk about this on the air? Hardy's wife saw him playing pickleball and walked away like, I got a real man.
Aroused.
Really?
I didn't want to say it, but now that he has,
wow.
I even in my marriage, like if my wife saw me like on stage, it was very arousing for her. Hardy's wife saw him play pickleball, and she actually said to him like afterwards, like that was sexy.
So it wasn't what you were wearing; it was actually your actual athletic ability.
I was playing against some young bucks. There's this kid named Andrew that I play with or against sometimes, and he's this, like jacked up electrician dude. So
you love him.
I was just going to say, you got aroused.
I would say, a non-sexual crush on him, but we're being honest, okay?
Yeah.
If he were to, want me in that way, there'd be at least a conversation.
Yeah, and then we'd have to set boundaries. And you'd have to feel safe.
But he's like probably late 20s and like really like in shape guy.
Right.
And I was playing against him, and my teammate and I beat him and the other guy. So
Who
I think
80?
No, she is not 80.
I like he's the other guy.
Well, the other player, hey guys,
listen, I don't
you're
need
coaching your girls' team, Fred. Do you say, hey guys?
Hardy, congratulations.
But I have to say, guard your person. That I have to say. But I will.
I think part of the arousal came from the fact that I beat a seemingly younger, more virile person, and I proved myself to be, virile myself. And women are always just looking for the best mate. It's very animalistic. That's all they want. Can this man provide me with a good, strong seed?
You know what?
And I proved that day that I could, Fred.
It's really too bad you're married. You could use this right now if you were single as a way of attracting other females.
You're absolutely right, John. But I wouldn't disgrace the game by doing that.
Yeah, because once you start getting into that lifestyle, I mean, then who are you going to play against? Because then there's this like. In all seriousness, if he started having sex with women on the circuit, then
it screws up what sessions you can attend.
Yeah, and then you stop having sex with them, which inevitably would happen because you're not going to stay with everyone you have sex with for the rest of your life.
Right.
Generally, most people. And if you went ahead and did that, then you show up to the pickleball place and it's awkward because the woman that you no longer have sex with is there. I mean, you'd have to. It's like dipping it in company ink, my friend. Not a good idea, if you know what I'm saying.
Careful with your pickle.
What?
Ball. Pickleball.
All right. So, look, we told you that we were going to talk about free agency, and there was a lot of talk of Cooper Kupp.
There was. And then there was Cooper Kupp news.
The Seahawks really recruited Cooper Kupp hard this week. They put the full court press on him. They showed him how he can start his next NFL chapter and be great with their offense, how he can blend in with Jackson Smith and Jigba. He talked with the coaches this week. So Denver was involved loosely, the New Orleans Saints a little bit, the Cowboys checked in. But Seattle, I'm told, was really the most aggressive and they had a competitive contract.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing in Seattle. It seems weird. They let Metcalf, they traded Metcalf, they let Tyler Lockett go. They signed Cooper Kupp, who's not an upgrade. I don't know.
3 years.
Yeah.
And with all that, he hasn't been good in 3 years, and they just gave him 3 years again?
Yeah, they trade Geno Smith and they bring in Sam Darnold. And Geno Smith is better than Sam Darnold, maybe. Like, at least it's a push, you would think. And they should have made the playoffs last year. Didn't they win 10 games and they didn't make the playoffs? I think they were 10-7 last year. They weren't a bad team. They got a young coach or a new coach. That's not bad. And they just have made these weird moves. Cooper Kupp, if I'm a Patriots fan, I'm glad you didn't sign Cooper Kupp, and here's why.
I thought it was going to be 1 year for like $12 million.
And here's why. Well, 3 years, I'll tell you why. It's because that's like what you did the last time you went nuts in free agency. Is you signed guys that weren't going to be there for the turnaround. And you don't need Cooper Kupp on this team. More people yelling and screaming about Cooper Kupp. You don't need him. You've heard about it. You've heard he's not the same guy. In 3 years, just to say you have Cooper Kupp. I understand fantasy football, and you probably had him on your team, and he was famous, and he had that one insane year. Was he an MVP? Or
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. And so, he had an insane year 1 year.
2,000 yards.
Well, he won the receiving triple crown.
Yeah.
He won receptions, yards, and touchdowns, led the league all in 1 year.
And I didn't go crazy over it. I would have liked the Patriots to sign him or any other receiver, and it's granted, Fred, it's more simplistic than what is best for them and what's the best fit right now, whether he's going to be there for the turnaround. But you say the Patriots don't need Cooper Kupp. They need pretty much everything. They still need a number one receiver. They still need a left tackle. And that without those things, whenever there's someone out there, and this is what aggravates me more than anything else when I hear they're not in. They're not in. They're just not interested. Not interested in DK Metcalf. Not interested in Cooper Kupp. Not interested in this guy. Not interested in that guy. That is a luxury you can't afford right now if you're putting together your Patriots team for this upcoming season. And it's easy to take the 30,000-foot view here in the spring, but come the fall, if you roll out there and you lose 4 out of your first 5 games, and you're going to be wondering, we're doing this again? Yes, we're doing this again because in order to get good, at some point you're going to have to sign a player that isn't a perfect fit, but someone that can just help you win another game or 2 or 3 than you have over the last 2 years.
But then you're saddled with him for 3 years, and he's not a number one receiver. Cooper Kupp's not a number one receiver.
He would be on this team.
Well, I mean, would he be the?
Absolutely,
Yes,
he would.
Absolutely, he would.
Well, he would be probably if he's healthy, maybe your best receiver, but not a number one receiver that's gonna, a lot of attention is gonna be paid to him by the opposing defense.
I'm just looking to get this kid any kind of help he can get, and right now he hasn't gotten the help that he needs.
Well, it's who's available. And I can understand being frustrated about not trading for DK Metcalf for whatever reasons they had for not doing that, because DK Metcalf would be your number one receiver and would be a deep target for him. But Cooper Kupp, just because he's a receiver and he was out there, doesn't mean that you should give him 3 years. I mean, there is the business of football, and that's if you're a Patriots fan, you don't want to build your team for this year. You want to build your team for 3 years from now.
I think Patriots fans are getting tired of having to wait another year or two. And I'm not saying you're wrong.
Right.
They're not going to be good next year, but they haven't been good in 5. So at what point do we start to get good again?
Right, but
that's what they're asking.
But because you don't want to keep rotating this. But the reason they're not better now, one of the reasons they're not better now is the free agency spree they went on 4 years ago. That pushed everything back, and now they're rebuilding from the ground up. It's their third coach in, and you don't want to have to start this again in 3 years, because that's not making the playoffs over 10 years. I can speak from experience. That's when it gets to be too much.
Yeah.
If there's hope, and you see a progression, and the team gets better and better and better. That's better than that dead cat bounce for going nuts in free agency, and then you have they did the year after free agency.
Yeah, it is, but you go back before free agency. The reason why they're here is they so badly mismanaged the quarterback situation, and now that you have a quarterback seemingly who can take you into the next phase of whenever it happens, 2-3 years from now, then you want to see him protected, and you want to give him something. That is someone to throw to.
Well, the mismanaging of the quarterback situation doesn't have anything to do with that the roster sucks. I mean, they mismanaged everything. They mismanaged the roster. They drafted horribly, and they made mistakes in free agency. So that's why they are where they are now, and you don't want to repeat those mistakes. Look,
I would say drafting is absolutely number one. The drafting, free agency, and then it was most obvious and most notable when Brady left and you had nothing, and you ended up saying, "Hey, Cam Newton's out there; why he can play quarterback."
The roster only got worse from there.
Yes.
So, and the coaching got worse, and the roster got worse, and now we're on beaches, showing our tremendous leg strength is what we're doing now, and posing on the beach. All right, we will be back. Our 6-man contest continues. Blind Scott has been on hold since before the show. He lost in the first matchup against Sarah from Everett. And today we have an all-star collection. We have Al Cole versus the guy from Machine. We will talk about that in just a moment. Here are the headlines. you were worried, now are officially in the NBA playoffs. God. So that if you were worried about that, that's happening. So what are we doing? Well, a radio show is so much more than the sum of its parts. In fact, it's more than just its parts. It requires people other than the members of the show to contribute. You know, on Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, they're taking callers all the time, and they're all contributing. Joe takes callers, and they have 5-minute conversations. Everyone enjoys that. Now, we don't take a lot of calls on this show because no one calls in the morning. They just want to be passively entertained. But yesterday we did, or on Thursday, we introduced you to a couple people that had that we know very well because they call and they email all the time. One was Blind Scott, who
I'm totally blind, by the way, if anybody doesn't know.
Yeah, and he's been on hold since before the show started. He emailed me 15 times in one 24-hour period.
Fred Toucher, he's a single guy.
I just know that one of his emails was how we had changed his life, and his life had never been better. So apparently, being on the show Thursday had changed his life in
you
miraculous
don't want to
ways.
date the best guy in radio?
Yeah, that's him talking to the Ben Maller show, and he went up against Sarah from Everett. How old are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Yes, Sarah from Everett, and we talked to her, and she went up against Blind Scott, and the people voted on Instagram, and it was not close. Sarah from Everett had over 80%, which means picture of her. Now, Sarah sends like prom pictures from, back in the 60s.
Yeah, that's, come on.
And then, she sent a picture one time with no face, but just her body. And even that was an old picture. So we're a little curious about what Sarah looks like. She thinks that I might make fun of her, but I would not do that. I would not make fun of her. That's her noise. That's her making noise. But it's time to move on to the next bracket. There's going to be 8 people competing in this. So we have the first 2, and those are 2 people that you might not be overly familiar with, but these 2 people you should be. Because
Fred, hello!
Hello! So we thought, someone suggested, because when we made the original 8, we did not have this guy in it, but then someone said Guy from Machine, and I went, oh, Jesus Christ, why have we not included Guy from Machine? Where has he been? Why have we not been talking to him?
He looked like he's ready for a little action.
So, the guy from Machine, and he's going up against a guy who we've known about for decades.
We played together in fantasy land. I sleep with the very thought of you.
Al Cole, who has become a huge part of this show. Al Cole, who has had sex with many, 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 many women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe.
He did, well, it's true, and he did nights at WZLX, and he turned it into a whole seduction chamber, and he is self-reported, says it's sex with so many women, sometimes...
Even if they're fat.
Yeah, even if they're fat, which we'll get to again with him. He can, it's EI or AI Al Cole. But Al Cole can...
No robots need reply.
And we can ask him about it, but he loves women's minds so much, like their emotional depth and their minds so much.
Most women are looking for love.
Yes, that is true. And that he can look past the physical and find sexual enjoyment in all shapes and sizes. What do you like in a woman? You tell me.
Brains.
Yeah, and do you see how adamant he was about that? He loves brains.
I wanted to make sure. After sometimes they're fat.
But he's also in touch with reality enough to know that
the penis is guided by the mind.
So that's all connected.
Well, it is true. I mean, if the penis is guided by the mind, it is.
But why?
Because it's how we operate.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Maybe it's not. We'll have to investigate further. I'm not a scientist, Al. I can't claim to be.
8 is a very, very seductive number.
I don't disagree, but it is a non sequitur, my friend. That was not what we were talking about.
Guess what?
What, Al?
I'm a robot.
Okay, very good.
Boy. All right.
But Al will be joining us. Guy from Machine will be joining us. And so we are guaranteeing you a half an hour of good fun. Who are we going to have on first?
We will have Al Cole on at 8 o'clock, followed by Guy from Machine.
Okay. So it's two superstars. It's almost unfair that they're up against each other, but two superstars will be going head-to-head in just a moment. But I do want to take this call. Peter, go ahead.
And thanks for taking the call. I just wanted to remind you, since you were very fond of this event as well, that it was 5 years to the day that we were really saved from the depths of COVID when all the celebrities got together and sang Imagine. It was really inspiring, and that I think it really just turned a corner for everyone.
That was when I knew that this was going to be a disaster and that the reverberations were going to last forever, is that when Wonder Woman, who I have not seen or heard of since, but Wonder Woman at the height of Wonder Woman fame got on a Zoom with Will Ferrell was on it. Like people I like were on it, and they sang Imagine to tell you that it was okay. One other thing that really bothered me was Patton Oswalt said, what are people complaining about having to stay home? There's TVs with, I don't know, every movie ever made. Huh? What? Like, what are people complaining about?
Yeah, you haven't even seen The Aviator, so I don't expect you to understand the joy of at least that first week of COVID. Yeah, you could watch movies.
It might have been the saddest thing I ever heard, as if like human interaction or leaving the house was completely unnecessary because every movie was available on demand.
Yeah, for a week.
Exactly.
And after that, it was terrible.
He was like, what do you... Yeah, because at first you thought maybe I'm only home for like a couple days, but then when you realized, oh, your kids aren't going to school for another year and a half, and by the way, all of Europe will be back, but don't worry, Israel went back like 2 days later because they're used to stuff happening.
But some places in Europe are using bicycles. That's cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just the Patton Oswalt thing, the Imagine thing was just disgusting. And then the Patton Oswalt thing, which I've never even talked about before, it just, everyone's complaining about having to stay home. I don't know. You have every movie ever released? What? What the hell does that have to do with anything? That's when I truly hated celebrities talking about anything. Stay home. Shut up. Shut up.
Sounds like you need to listen to Imagine again. We'll listen to that at the end of the show in the stack today. The celebrity compilation of them doing Imagine.
I might start drinking again. Who knows if you do that.
What was the actress's name?
I'll join you.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot.
What's her name?
Gal Gadot? That might be her.
Gadot.
Who cares? Wonder Woman. And what has she been in? Nothing.
Okay.
It ruined her career as it should have. She should have never done anything again.
Okay.
You're a Gadot.
All right.
I like that you do one Marvel film or DC film, and all of a sudden you get everyone on Zoom.
I love how everybody sweated that movie to the ends of the earth. And when I finally saw it, I said, have you never seen a superhero movie before? They're all the same. It's just another one. But she's great. Okay. Whatever. It's fine.
She's so beautiful. All right. We'll be back. Not beautiful enough to put up with that Imagine stuff. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy next on the Sports Hub.
FanDuel is turning the excitement up even higher for college basketball. Oh, there you go. I feel it makes me feel important. I feel like with the Seaver family. Through the first two rounds of the tournament, bet the lowest winning seed of the day, and you'll win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. Now that's an upset you will not be upset about. I mean, you could bet on Bryant as they take on Michigan State maybe if they're the lowest seed playing that day. FanDuel is the best place to bet money on the tourney. You can bet on everything from spreads to money lines and team totals, plus so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/Fred to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your dog of the day, because in March, anything can happen. You got to be 21 or older and present in Massachusetts. Opt-in required. Winning pre-live money wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets. All right, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. And the quicker I say that you can subscribe to 985 The Sports Hub, the quicker we can get this off. Hardy, we have a big contest going on.
We do.
6.
Toucher and Hardy features Fred Toucher with Hardy and Wallach too. Adam 12 and Nick and Ryan. But the most important person is you. Sixth man.
The New Woke Order.
Sixth man.
I'm totally blind, by the way.
Sixth man.
A lot of people are going, ooh, oh.
Sixth man.
6 is a very seductive number.
Wow.
Yes, it is our six-man contest. Sarah from Everett beat Blonde Scott. She's on to the next round. And now it's time to meet, I don't want to waste too much time. Now it's time to meet our next contestants who are two superstars. Let's start with contestant number 1.
Yeah, actually, it's contestants 3 and 4 today. We're going to talk with candidate number 4, Dorian. Then you argued with your wife as to what this actually meant.
I always thought it was alcoholics.
It is alcoholics, but his presence is so intoxicating that his fans are given the suffix coholics, as in somebody who is so invested in their job is given the suffix coholic. They are a workaholic.
Got it.
Okay? Yeah. Do you have it? What is the suffix?
I'm sorry.
What is the suffix?
It's like workaholics.
No, what is the suffix? What does the suffix? What particular part of that is a suffix?
Like at the end.
Right.
Yes.
So his presence is so intoxicating his fans are given the suffix.
I know.
Coholic.
Listen, it was a busy afternoon. I apologize.
That's why we don't have kids. Well, that's what I find so fascinating. You have 1.
Yes.
We both have 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your excuse with the kids is falling on deaf ears. Everyone in this
we were driving around all day.
The producer, John, Hardy, and I all have 2 children. You have 1.
Yes.
Your excuse is this kid thing. You're really milking. How old's your kid?
I wasn't blaming the kid. I was just saying we were all over the place yesterday.
Well, you might be out. You might be out tomorrow because that teacher hasn't gotten back to me, and I got news for you. Forget it. That's for off the air. It's not has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
I appreciate what you're doing with that. All right. I'm sorry. I just started thinking out loud. All right. Let's get to it. Let's bring him up. Al Cole from CBS Radio specializes in music production, video production, and promotional interviews. If you're looking for services in those areas, you can contact Al Cole at 508-669-6987 or email at alcoleholic.com. He doesn't want to give love advice. He wanted to make it very clear that he's giving his cell phone out for people that want music production, video production, promotional interviews. Hi, Al.
Al Cole, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Al Cole's here.
Everyone loves Al Cole.
Fred, Rob, John, I love the little clip that you play periodically. 6 is a very sexy number.
Yeah, well, they can all be sexy when you invent your own system of numerology, but there is more to it than just the art of picking up women now. Your system of numerology actually has some basis in I don't know if I want to say fact, but logic. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I spent years figuring out that stuff and thousands of different charts that I invented myself. And it was really, it was validated by a lot of women. Guys, too. I would figure out numbers and everything. But the women would say, how do you know this about me? All of that stuff. And it's a great way to meet people as well. I figured out my own system of numerology when I was, this age or that age or something like that. Oh, yeah? Hey, figure out my numbers. And usually I was kind of spot on. I'm a little bit rusty now. I haven't done it for a while. However, I could get back into the groove under the right conditions.
All right. So, Al, kind of explain this to me because I'm a little lost. I know what numerology is, but so... can you kind of explain it? So you?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So how you're talking to someone and then you assign them a number. Kind of take me through it.
Yeah, 1 through 9 my system goes 1 through 9, and then it repeats. At 10, then it becomes 1 again, and everything. And I assign a certain number to a certain letter. So A is 1, B is 2, etc. Things like that. I put together the first name, the last name, and possibly if they have a middle name, like that. I put all these numbers together, and I figure out that, that first number that comes in with the name, with that first name, and then what comes in with that middle name, what comes in with that last name. I figure out, what number does that reach when it comes down to 1 through 9. 1 is a very masculine number. All right, it's a number of God. You could put it that way. 2 is kind of like an offbeat number, but that doesn't mean the person has to be offbeat, because everything has to fit into this stuff. 3, very, very feminine. 4, kind of offbeat in a very philosophical way. And then, it keeps repeating with things like that.
Al,
8,
what about the number
philosophical.
69, huh?
Well, 69 is the same as 6.
Is that a very giving number, Al?
Very seductive. Very seductive. Al, I remember reading a book years ago where a person had divined the fact that President Reagan was the devil because his 3 names, Ronald, Wilson, Reagan, all had 6 letters each, and therefore he bore the mark of the beast. Do you lend any credibility to that theory?
Not necessarily. It could be, it could not be. If you add 666 together, what do you get? You get 18. You add 1 and 8 together, what do you get? You get 9. 9 is a number of, you could say, darkness, a little bit of secrecy, things along that line, which could relate to the presidency of the United States.
Ooh.
However, it's a very female number, too. It gets into some of the mystique of a woman, the feminine energy, things like that. Reagan, he was a player. He came from acting and all that stuff. He did his thing. So it can mean many, many different things when you get deep with it.
Al, the Kama Sutra is a book, an ancient book of sexual positions. It's been used for millennia as a guide. Have you been through the Kama Sutra? Do you believe in that? A little. I understand. Positioning? Yes, sexual positioning.
And I think women out there would agree with this. One of the best positionings for a woman is when she's on top of the guy. In that sitting position, she is moving around her way. She understands that penis going in, and she manipulates that penis in certain ways. She moves it around her way, up and down. That is one of the most, orgasmic positions for a woman. I'm not saying it has to be limited to that. Of course. It depends on the guy, too, and how much love is being passed between us. But, that sitting position, you could say, when the woman is on top of the guy. Try it out, man.
Yeah, well, that's so adventurous, Al. I don't know if I've ever experienced that.
Reverse cowgirl thoughts.
Well, listen, let's not go crazy. Wow. We've had enough. Now, Al, can you say the amount of love between two people, is that a vibe? Is it eye contact? How do you lend intimacy? Because a position's a position, but how do you make that more intimate?
Well, I'm going to say something that a lot of guys will kind of question right from the get-go. But then, as I describe it a little bit more, they're going to realize it's true. We start out with physical. All right. Because that's the first thing. We look at somebody's body type first and foremost, how they're dressed, their hair type, from a distance. And we're clued in on something. And then we start to talk. And a guy can lose it with a woman right from the start, a good-looking guy. If he talks kind of like this and, he doesn't know what he's talking about, man, yeah, what do you think? All right, that's going to lose it with a woman. Why? It's not just the voice. It's what that voice indicates in terms of the mind. Women love.
But I'm more talking about, Al, during the act of sex.
You're talking about during the act of sex.
Yeah, you mentioned.
You're going to make it explicit there.
No. I'm actually being serious. So you say the amount of love being generated.
Right.
So you're having sex and it is what it is. How do you express take it to a deeper level, a spiritual, a very loving level?
Well, usually in the same kinds of ways. Now, it doesn't take a lot of talk because the talk is in the relationship itself with the relationship of those two bodies. And what is happening is every once in a while, you groan a little bit more. And, maybe, oh, I love this. Little things like that. Women are more vocal than guys generally.
Says
women,
you.
And a guy will take his cue from that. If a woman starts to moan a little bit, and they do, and then they'll say, oh, give it to me or something, or F me. That's really what you hear most of the time. That F me thing.
Yeah. You do?
Is this good, honey? Like that. Little things along
So you
that line.
ask
We're
how
not talking
she's
about a
feeling.
philosophical treatise right now.
No. You're asking how she's feeling. Like you're having a verbal communication about, not long, but you're asking like if this is a mutually enjoyable process.
Absolutely. It's got to be. And in fact, not only mutually enjoyable, guys should understand that a big part of their enjoyment is how much the woman is enjoying it. Because women have a way, guys don't even know this, they have a way of controlling things. And sometimes when they're controlling things, they are maybe even overdoing it because they want that guy to perform a little bit more or something. Sometimes when the woman seems to be underdoing it, that's when she's really having the most pleasure. Sometimes.
Oh.
And the guy might be the guy might be saying, well, honey, God, get this. When a woman seems like she's in pain or something, well then, the guy's going to ask, hey, I'm sorry, did I do something? Does it hurt? No, keep going.
No, Al, yeah, there you go. All right. Well, look, Al, you are a national treasure. I know you wanted to talk more about picking up women at bars, but there's just not time. I would love to have you on again as soon as possible. And Al Cole, was I? I'm going to get it. I'm doing the plug now, yeah. Al Cole, I'm being told by Adam Al to plug it, but I was already going to do it, Al. So don't worry. Al Cole, CBS Radio, he does music production, video production, and promotional interviews. You've heard his voice. It's so seductive. It gives you a warm feeling. You can contact Al at 508-669-6987 or email him at Al, A-L-C-O-L-E, Al Cole, Holic, HOLIC.com, alcoholholic.com. Al, I mean, this might have been your best appearance of all time.
Fantastic.
You're so relaxed and so knowledgeable, and I appreciate it very much. We all do. Al, thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, guys. I always appreciate it. All the best. We'll talk again.
All right, there you go. Wow.
Thank God this is podcast. There was a lot of information there, and I wasn't able to get it all down, so we get to listen back to that later. I know Hardy took a lot from this.
I very rarely laugh in mic, and I actually started laughing very loud.
How much of that actually made it onto the
I think you could play all of that on
FM airwaves?
I only had to dump one once. There was one, it got a little explicit, and I felt it.
Yeah, that's up to you. I don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, it was everything else I felt was kind of dancing with the line, the way that Al Cole loves to dance with our emotions.
Well, unless you say dirty words, you were making it like erotic or like you're making it pornographic. I mean, he was talking about love.
He's the best. I mean, he might be my favorite guest that we have on this show, period.
Yeah, I love Al. That was a real home run. You got him?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a home run for Adam. Chalk that up right there. Between that and the Nick intros and outros, I mean, you're cooking with gas right now. It almost makes up for this music.
You're playing today. Beat me to it.
I want on the record, I have no problem. I appreciate Nick and I love his voice work. I only was angry because he argued with his wife when his wife was 100% correct, and I found her to be very dismissive of her when she was trying to instruct him. He's
white knighting for your wife. He's not your friend.
It wasn't even. It's not the wife white knighting situation. It's a grammar snob situation. And when I hear someone pushing back on like just verbal things like that, I was angry on her behalf.
All right. Well, look, Al has taught us so much. It is odd with that stuff because he's talking like an adult, it is weird that the FM thing, he's talking about having sex, but it's not like in a way that's like titillating. It's very strange to me that that's like. Isn't that weird to you, Adam?
It is.
That you can't have that conversation. Like, why would that be a bad conversation for anyone to hear?
And I'm listening to it, and I am. I mean, I'm the kind of last line of defense here. So I'm like, this again. I don't necessarily have a problem with this.
And I'm not arguing
I know
you.
That there might be someone that does if it goes a little too far into this direction. So that's kind of where, and that's the weird thing too, Fred. As you know, like there's a line, but it moves depending on the context and depending on how it's said and all that. So
that didn't seem. I mean, no, I don't have a. You believe me. You do what you do, but I mean that seems very clinical.
And I don't have a problem at all with just so Al, if you're listening to this, we love the way that you speak and describe things. Don't change that at all. We can parse out what belongs on FM airwaves and doesn't. But I mean Al Cole is a man among men and a deep feeler, and we love having him on the show.
Oh yeah, everyone loves Al. All right, well this is going to be tough but there's one guy that can do it. It's the guy from Machine, and he is our next contestant. We will have that in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Hardy, the sports.
To whom, Hardy?
Happy St. Patty's Day!
A happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Guy from Machine. Now, where were you working when we first met you?
Machine Nightclub.
Yes, the Machine Nightclub. And what was the Machine Nightclub? That was by Fenway, right?
Yes, right by Fenway. 50 yards from the Fenway door.
Okay, and then now that area has been overdeveloped and there is no machine there anymore, correct?
Yeah, it's apartment dwelling now for students.
Okay, so where are you working now?
I'm working at the Sandbar, but Bianchi's at the Sandbar. It's two restaurants under one roof.
Oh, really? Two restaurants under one roof, and you are bartending?
Yes, the Bianchi's is separate from the Sandbar.
Okay.
And this is in Revere, right?
It's in Revere, Massachusetts. 381 Revere Beach Boulevard, Revere, Massachusetts.
Right.
Now, Guy from Machine, during the summer, you're on Revere Beach. Are there guys? Do they come in shirtless? Like, is it a good place to meet guys?
Well, it is, but they can't wear shirtless inside the restaurant.
Oh, do you not like that policy? Would you, if you could vote, would you say that you could go shirtless?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Do you ever meet guys while you're bartending? Because you're so charismatic, I would have to imagine people are drawn to you.
I really do, but I said not tonight.
Oh, okay. So take me through, if a guy comes to the bar and he starts, how do they usually try to chat you up?
Well, usually we make eye contact.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I take their order, and then they drop a napkin on the floor.
Ooh. Okay.
You know the rest, right?
Yeah. So it's a prison situation. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like dropping the soap.
Yes.
It's like dropping the soap.
All right. Yes, indeed. And that's a signal to you that everything's okay. That it's all a go. All right.
Hello.
That's exactly right. You know, Guy from Machine, I was in a sauna not so long ago, and there were a bunch of buff dudes, and I noticed a lot of like eye contact and nonverbal communication. That's
how it starts.
Okay, yes, that's how it starts. So that's so like if you're in a sauna, there's like a nonverbal.
Just close your eyes.
Yeah, right. And then what will you do? Will you get up and leave the sauna, and then the guy will come out like a minute later and come find you?
Just drop the soap.
Okay, well, Guy from Machine, you can't just do that in a public sauna, can you?
Not really.
Okay.
There's no soap in a sauna.
That's mentally.
Don't be ridiculous.
Mentally, honey. Hello.
Okay, mentally. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hello. All right. And
not physically.
No. And now, are you on Grindr, Guy from Machine?
No.
Why?
The worst one.
Oh, you don't? You like?
I like Scruff.
What's Scruff?
Scruff. They grow their beards.
Oh.
They have hair in their chest.
That's not a website. That's
Okay,
not an app.
I thought that was
Scruff isn't
That's
an
an
app.
app.
No.
Oh, it's an app.
It is an app.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so it's called it's called Scruff. And okay, and now what is Scruff? Because you are hairless, Guy from Machine. That's correct, right?
Yeah, I have no hair.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
hair.
Yeah.
Not even on my head.
Yeah,
on my head. On the head.
You have a gorgeous
I'm
body.
trying to keep it clean.
Yes.
Got to keep it clean.
And you have a gorgeous body. I mean, you
Yes,
do.
I do.
Yes, you do. You're in
I
such
work
good.
out.
Well, obviously,
I work out.
You're in
Yeah.
tremendous shape. I'm not kidding either. So what is?
But I really am.
I know you are.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing
Yes,
with you,
thank
Guy
you.
from Machine. You're in great shape. You're muscular.
I
You're
am.
cut. You're very little body fat.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
what?
No body fat.
No. I understand. Guy from Machine. What is Scruff? Now, what kind of guys does Scruff give you?
Okay. Did you shave today?
No.
Okay, you're Scruff then.
Okay. Okay, so I've lost a little bit of weight, but I'm old. I'm 50. I have a gray beard.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, thank you, Guy from Machine.
Age doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter.
That's what I'm telling
It's
everyone.
just a number.
It is. Now, Guy from Machine.
It's a number.
I'm so let's say I'm 6'2", I'm like 193, and I have a gray beard. I had a girl one time say that she was fantasizing about me, so she looked up old man porn. That really happened in my life. What kind of I could be on Scruff? What is there a label that would I belong to a subset in the gay community?
It's called you be called a daddy, not old man. That's for straight people.
Okay.
So in straight life, you classify as an old man, but in gay life, daddy, the old man is a daddy.
Okay, and in a daddy with I'm also hairy. I have a hairy chest. And everything, a very hairy chest. Would that be sought after in the gay community?
Yeah, a daddy usually is more established gay person, and he'll present himself in a different manner, and it's more classier. He may grow his beard, he may wax his beard, or he may wear long hair or bald his hair, and wear a mustache or no mustache.
You're giving a lot of options.
Yeah.
Like, he could have long hair or no hair. He could have a mustache or no facial hair.
Right. Or you can wear a wig.
Okay, like a Warhol thing. Right. I understand. All right.
Yeah.
So, is there room in the gay community for a 50-year-old hairy man?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay. So, do gay, because you are hairless, does that mean that you like guys with like a hairy chest or no?
Well, I'm not a hairy type of guy.
Oh.
I like hair on the back.
You like hair on the back?
No, I do not.
Oh, no.
No hair on the back. No one likes that, but
you can actually cornrow that.
Okay, so you like cornrows on the back. Is what you're saying. Do you like to braid men's backs? Is that something that is erotic to you? I understand, guy from Machine. But there's so many...
I'll run the other way if I see the hair.
Right. Okay, so there's...
I'm out. The brother's out.
Okay, there you go. So, guy from Machine, you're on Scruff. What would be the perfect Scruff profile for you? Like, what would you like to hear?
Okay, so usually I'll put down... what? If they put down, I like spit, I like I like...
Okay, so you can't say, I understand what you're saying. So
some things I just won't tolerate.
Yeah, I don't know what any of that means, but that's great. Maybe we won't get into it. But after alcohol, especially.
I just skipped the line on that.
Yeah, no, I understand. But so are you looking for someone younger? Are you looking for someone older? You're looking for someone with some...
something that's equal to me.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Someone who's motivated, they have the same dreams I have. And they don't mind if the partner is a little flirtatious.
Oh, okay, because you have...
That's okay.
Yeah, that's your job.
Because remember, I'm going home with them, not with the other person.
Right. And so if you meet someone on Scruff, will you meet them? Have you ever met someone on Scruff and then, met up that day?
It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because they want to send all... Can you send me a pic? I don't like taking pics of my private part.
You do or you don't?
I don't.
Okay, so you don't, and they want to see that.
Yeah. That's possible. That's what I... Yeah, when they say, can you send me a picture? I said, I do it. I text them only in person.
Ah, that's very shrewd. You don't want that. A guy from Machine, you're famous. You don't want those kind of pictures going out on the internet. No.
I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Exactly.
Do you find this time of year, especially at a seaside eatery, that love is in the air, spring is upon us, it's parade season, people are starting to get out and about? Do you notice an uptick in your social activity and those around you? Are you feeling that the love is in the air now, guy from Machine?
Oh, the love is in the air. No matter what the spring, winter, fall, doesn't matter. Love is in the air for me every single day.
Oh,
I don't doubt that for a minute. You're one of the most charismatic men in the entire world, guy from Machine. Where can people find you?
Yeah.
Where can people find you again?
At Bianchi's at the Sandbar, 381 Revere Beach Boulevard. Also, we have a karaoke on Saturdays.
Oh,
every
really?
Saturday.
Now,
every Saturday, twice a month. Just call in to find out when the karaoke is going on. Call us we open up at 11 o'clock.
Okay, will you ever sing karaoke?
Yes, I do. And I'm a good singer.
Oh, really? Can you sing us a little bit of a song you might sing for karaoke?
You want me to sing a birthday song?
Yes.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, 98.5. Happy birthday to you.
Am I the only one in here with an erection?
No, it's
Yeah. Guy from Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, you are something else. All right. Well, look, everyone come visit you. They come in and they say hello, and you get the whole Guy from Machine experience. Guy from Machine, don't be a stranger. I'd like to talk to you soon, okay?
Please do. Thank you. And St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's for everybody. You guys can make me cry.
Oh, Guy from Machine. Well, look, we're going to have Nick come into the restaurant very soon and talk to you. I would love to have you in studio. Everyone loves Guy from Machine. Thank you so much, sir. We love you.
I'm getting emotional right now.
All right. Well, listen, we love you, Guy from Machine.
Thank you.
All right. There you go. The Guy from Machine. Everyone loves the Guy from Machine. This is going to be tough.
Yeah, this vote's going to be a hard one.
Let me tell you something. Somebody already said on Twitter, Steve, this could easily be the finals. This has like an AFC championship written all over it. It's like you want the two best teams. We may have heard them this morning.
Because I don't know how the brackets are lined up, but if it is Sarah from Everett in studio with a Guy from Machine in studio.
Well, we're going to reseed once we get through this round. We're going to take a look and reseed because we want to have really good matchups for these semifinals. So that could happen.
Yeah. I mean, that is something else.
Hot daddy in a tight skirt night.
Yes, that's right. Guy from Machine. He's on scruff. That's what he likes.
Bears.
But he doesn't like bears.
A rugged double bear.
No, he doesn't like that,
Not
though.
his style.
No.
He was actually just describing it at that point. He wasn't just saying, I love this. He was describing what it was.
Yeah.
I like Roach.
Yeah,
he likes Dan Roach.
He does like Dan Roach. He's hairless.
I thought it described you as an otter, Fred, back in
I don't know. The gay guys have put me in so many subsets,
Yeah,
and sometimes
it's tough to
I
keep
just
track
think they're making it up to play sport on me.
But
you know?
we know the bear, but I believe like the otter is the slimmer version. It's a man who has a lot of body hair, but is not a big fella. He's a slimmer guy.
Yeah, and also I wouldn't be rough trade, so like I wouldn't be into that. I'm too sensual a person. All right, so there you go. All right, well there you go. It's going to be up on @Toucher and Hardy on Instagram, and you're going to have to make it. It's a decision that's almost impossible to make, and it doesn't matter really because whoever wins, loses, it doesn't matter because they're both such a part of our show,
right?
That it doesn't matter either way. But that decision is up to you. I mean, I couldn't make the decision myself. It's too tough, and it really doesn't matter again because none of these people are being eliminated from our lives. And I got to imagine it's going to be very close. Guy from Machine is so charismatic, and alcohol is so sensual that I mean, it's really It's almost like if you put them together, you'd have the perfect man. You know,
boom, boom.
It's true. All right. Well, everyone's all sexed up. Let's take a break. Here are the headlines.
Fred, goodbye. Goodbye, Fred. Fred, goodbye.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius. SportsHub.com.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred. Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Dutcher or is that Hardy?
Kinda looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
And someone else said something on Twitter like, Mondays are generally the easy day. Tuesday is the worst traffic day. Apparently, it's god awful. So
I mean, it's raining, and you gotta count, factor that in.
I would think that like a fair number of people are like banging in today or working from home. It's not a holiday per se, but it's not a strong work day either.
You want me to get a lot of hay mail? You want it 3, 2, 1. Yeah, people should go back into the office. That infuriates people because they know I'm right, and then but they don't want it said, and they go crazy. It's better for us. People are back in the office. It means they're in their cars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only thing that matters is our success. But if you have been paying attention to the NCAA tournament, the Michigan State Spartans, who I've seen play, finally my strategy of betting them when they were down at the half has not come to pass because they lost to Wisconsin in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament, which is fine by me. They have a full week off. They have, until they have to play on Friday, but they are playing John. And so Hardy went to Michigan State. I like Michigan State because I went to Rollins, and what the hell am I going to root for?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not like when they lose the tournament, I don't cry or anything, but I'll watch their games. On Friday at 10 p.m., I'll watch this game. And they're up against John Wallach's Bryant Bulldogs, who he continues to support, even though they are not sending him to Cleveland, Ohio, to call the game for budgetary reasons.
They haven't told me that specifically, but I can infer.
Yeah, but you would think that a flight to Cleveland, Bryant's a good school, and I was telling John this off the air. Like if Milo wants to play college baseball, if Milo got an offer from Bryant, he would be overjoyed. He would take it for sure.
Yeah. So
I'm not dismissing their athletic program. I mean, it's not Michigan State. Obviously, there's a huge difference, but so I'm not. So my thing is, Bryant is a good athletic program. They've made the tournament now a couple times in the last 3 years.
Yeah. They made it in 22. That was the Peter Kiss team you loved.
Yeah,
and,
Peter Kiss was a real jerk.
And so no, this team is better than that one.
Yeah, and so John, they won't fly him out there but to fly to Cleveland, you could get a flight if you tried for like under $200, and you could get certainly a decent hotel room like a Marriott or something. I would believe for under $250.
The deal is that Brian hasn't done commercial radio in 4 or 5 years. I've been doing ESPN Plus for them.
So you've been doing the TV broadcast.
I've been doing the TV broadcast for them for the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, there are no TV rights that Brian has to these games. I didn't do the America East Championship game or the semifinal because they were both on ESPN2.
But you were there.
I was there.
By yourself?
I took my family to the championship game. I was
you
not
did.
there for the.
Were you in the locker room after it was over?
I was not.
Oh, Jonathan.
I know.
Did you storm the court?
I did not.
Oh.
Jonathan.
I did not. I had a good seat for
But they
it,
gave
too.
you courtside seats.
Yes, right behind the Bryant bench.
It was on national television. It was an atmosphere. I saw some of it because I saw John tweet it out that someone had seen him in the crowd or asked him where he was in the crowd.
Yes.
And
yeah,
John,
I saw it was a good photo.
Did your family sit with you?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't see them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what your kids look like. You never bring them around.
One of my boys is sitting right behind me, actually.
Oh, behind you?
Well, second row. We had three together and one right behind.
Oh, and you put him in the back. Classy.
He chose that.
Yeah, because he was like, "Why are we here?"
No, he was excited.
But
Loves
John,
Earl Timberlake.
John is all fired up. He loves Brian in this Michigan State game.
I think they're going to cover. I have wagered to that effect.
Really?
Yes.
Thousands or what?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of dollars?
Yes.
Over $100?
Yes.
How much money did you put on this?
200.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
$200. Bryant plus 17.5 or 18.5.
I look. I told John off the air. I said I like that bet. It's fine. I don't think Michigan State's going to lose, but there's enough issues with that team, and
What are the issues? They have no issues.
Michigan State?
They can't shoot threes.
They can't shoot threes.
Now,
but that's the only. But they beat Michigan by like 20.
I am not sitting here telling you Brian's going to beat Michigan State. Michigan State lost 6 games. 5 of them were to ranked teams. They have one bad loss. That was USC. That was the one bad loss.
The bad loss is in Indiana.
Okay.
And USC. But those are Big Ten teams. And the USC loss was at USC. They had to travel across the country.
Brian faced 2 teams that made the tournament. Grand Canyon, who's a 13 seed, they lost Big 2. And the St. John's game was interesting because they were without their best player, and they were only down 3 6 minutes into the second half. And they lost by 22. Obviously, St. John's pulled away. But Brian gave them a lot of trouble.
With a team that has trouble shooting threes, Fred, I'm reluctant to lay 17.5 points. So that's why I like Wallach's bet.
Here's why I wouldn't take Brian in that game, and I don't care either way. I'm seeing 18.5 now, so obviously action has been coming in hot and heavy on Michigan State. Is that Michigan State plays? If they relied on the 3, then I would be like, okay, because that's something you can get cold. Like Wisconsin in the first half of that game, shot 1% from 3. But if you're big, deep, and play great defense and rebound well, that's something that you can do in every game.
Bryant rebounds exceptionally well. Bryant's in the top 10 in the country in rebounding.
But they play they lost. They got doubled up by Grand Canyon State.
Top 5 in the country in block shots. But I am telling you're right about the depth. Michigan State plays 9 or 10 guys every game. Bryant plays 7. 8 if someone gets in foul trouble or gets hurt. So that's the difference. But Bryant plays an and I said this to you last night. The tempo makes all the difference. Bryant averages 82 points a game. They like to play in the mid-80s. Pace-wise, they're in the top 10 in the country. Michigan State can run, but prefers to play. They do run.
No, they prefer to play fast.
Okay.
They do.
I was under the impression they did not.
No, they do. They're in the they might have led the Big Ten in fast break points.
So hammer the over is what we're saying here.
I don't know if they're going to put up a ton of points. They just run. They go fast.
Okay.
Izzo's teams always go fast. That's what they do. They
don't slow it down, reset, and
no. Off a made basket, it's inbounded and they're running.
That's what Bryant does too.
They do the same thing. They do. Now they'll set up, and against Bryant, because I told you Michigan State roll out 5, 6, 10 and above kids.
Yeah, Brian has
big corn-fed kids.
Bryant's bigger than most mid-majors will run across. They average 6'8" in their starting lineup. So
well, we'll see. Well, listen.
Meanwhile, Auburn, who is still getting way less than half the amount of picks to go and win the whole thing in the ESPN bracket. I didn't follow them down the stretch, but did they lose 3 out of the last 4?
Auburn lost to Alabama the last game of the regular season, and then they didn't win the SEC tournament.
No.
Yeah.
So you might Florida be right about that.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat for a team that ends up with the overall number 1 seed in the tournament.
People love Auburn. Talk to Kendra about it on Thursday because she's all about them. And she's she's not going to be here.
No,
because she's in Ireland.
Abroad.
For far too long. All right, look, when we come back, we'll get to the hit. You've all wanted us to talk about it, and we will talk about it. We will talk about the latest photo. Some people speculated we do 2 hours. Well, we haven't done anything on it yet.
It's time.
We had Al Cole and Guy from Machine on. We had bigger fish to fry, but we'll get to it in just a moment.
Altamont cheddar chicken sandwich. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score in the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Todger and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On this
friend, Guy from Machine, both of them were superstars today, as they are always superstars, and so it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. It's going to be...
We all win anyway.
Yeah, and they're both going to be in our lives. No one's going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and there's a lot of great content there. So besides this live show. So I'm reading the New York Post. Now, I want to thank the literally over 100 of you that on Instagram or on email sent me the picture of Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. This is from the New York Post. How Bill Belichick and this is so AI. How Bill Belichick and girlfriend Jordan Hudson, 23, are living it up on spring break. Is she 23?
I thought she was 24.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they went to I'm looking at this article. They went to the Flagler Museum in Palm Beach, which I'm sure every 23-year-old girl wants to do. I'm going to be in Palm Beach.
I know where that is.
I don't even know. I'm going to be in Palm Beach. I leave on Thursday with my son, and I'm sure I'm going to go. My son, who's 7 years younger than her, so I'm sure that we'll go to the Flagler Museum.
The Henry Morrison Flagler Museum?
Yeah, and she took photos of them and put them on Instagram, because that's what she wanted to do, was go to the Flagler Museum. And she also put a pitch that you all sent me of Bill Belichick supporting her. They're on the beach, and it says hashtag spring break, hashtag us time, hashtag still got it. And it's her in a bathing suit and Bill in a T-shirt, because, of course, he has to keep that on the beach, and shorts, and he's supporting her with his legs and hands. And I don't know what she still has, but she's able to lay on him. Yes, they're doing acrobatics. And
I didn't know Bill was into acro. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, the power, and I mean, that girl's got to weigh 105 pounds. The power that he has in his core is really unbelievable. And obviously, like, he's posing for things. And I want to address this because I've had enough people go, Fred, you're single, you're jealous. Now, I'm 50, and Bill's 72, 73, and she's 24. So let's run through it, okay? Let's run through this. Take it out of, say you can make yourself believe, you can delude yourself to the fact that this woman actually wants your disgusting fat old body on top of her. Let's just, you're gross, but let's just say you can delude yourself to, and she wants you sexually. So take that out of the place, okay? Now, Bill Belichick has access to, like, private planes and, like, galas and stuff. How many days out of the year do you think a gala happens? You can make it high.
Even in Bill Belichick's life, I would say 6.
6. There's 365 days in a year. That leaves 359 other days. Say she's 23, 24. All right, so you're friends, with famous people, and that's great. But she is just out of college. Who is she friends with? Who are her group of friends? Has she completely lost them? How old are her friends?
Well, she probably made new friends in the docents at the Henry Flagler Museum.
She probably did.
The average of 80.
So let's run through dating a 23-year-old as a 72-year-old, 73-year-old man. So her friends are all right out of college. What were you doing the year after you graduated college? What were you doing?
Drinking a lot.
Drinking and eating.
And where were you living?
Home.
Yeah, and so was I. Okay, so she wants to, I don't know, see friends of hers. Let's go through it. So I want to be him so badly. So here I am. I'm 72 years old. She's 50 years younger than me. And she goes, hey, my friend's getting married. Say one of her friends is getting married. She's 23. They're having a party. Oh, okay. So I'm going to a party now where I am going to be 72 and surrounded by her and her 23-year-old friends, and I'm going to be standing there making conversation with a room full of 23-year-old kids, 22, 23, 24. This is how I want to spend my life, my golden years. And I want to, and the whole time I would feel so incredibly guilty. I'm robbing this girl of her 20s. Like, I'm complete. Because if she's not doing that, she's never going to get to do that again. You're only in your early 20s for 3 years. And they're all spent with a senior citizen. And a senior citizen by 20 years. I mean, I got an AARP card thing, and I'm 50. He's 23 years older than me. The social media thing we've been over a million times. I don't know. I know what she's doing, and I'm starting to see. Kendra's a big social media person. She was in your
make the guy that she's dating look foolish and taking pictures on the beach. The balancing act going on.
He was, Bill, where he had a onesie on. He had his straps and they were connected to his shorts. And he was out there lifting triangular
weights. What grossed
weights.
me out more than anything if I were her, never mind the sex. How about those gross 73-year-old decrepit, gnarled feet touching you when you're trying to balance up in the air like that? It's like, of all his body parts, the feet probably have to be in the worst shape.
Okay, have you seen any of his ex-players talk about this? So
Yes.
I just saw Tom Brady interviewed, and it's the guy that wears the bolo tie and the mustache. He's got long blonde hair. He's funny. Like, he interviews people in a funny way. He says, like, do you think Bill's had to rent a car for his girlfriend yet? Because she can't rent a car because she's not 25. And, like, the grin on these guys' faces when they see it, because they're all banging whoever they want. Edelman and Brady, they're having sex all over the place. They're having sex with any 20-year-old model they want. You know what they're not doing, ladies and gentlemen, is taking Instagram photos and parading around the Flagler Museum with this all advertised all over the place. You know what the last thing Tom Brady wants is some broad he just banged, taking a picture of him, putting it on social media. And you know why they can't do it? They sign NDAs. All these guys are running around with lawyers with NDAs that girls they bang have to sign specifically so this doesn't happen. Do you understand how ridiculous this is for a famous person to be doing? It's so embarrassing. It's out of my mind. It's not. And I guess I don't really see the difference between banging a 24-year-old and a 34-year-old or even a hot 44-year-old more than, like, I don't know why one would be so much preferable to the other. Like, if a girl's hot, a girl's hot. And if a girl's, like,
more than
lively in bed,
and more than 20 years younger than you, you've fulfilled that whole, like, age thing.
Yeah, so. Like, I can tell you, it's not like, I mean, it's all dependent on the woman. Like, it's not like automatically. And are you like immediately drawn to like a 23-year-old? I mean, I don't find myself feeling that way.
What do they talk about? That's what I want to know.
Well, your references are all gone, and like, yeah, there's no.
Well,
I mean, there's
what
no.
What can the two of them possibly talk more than 2 minutes about?
Well, they talk about a lot because it's been proven that he has requested that his media appearances and everything get run through her. Okay. She's working essentially as his PR agent.
Maybe I just need to amend that. What do they talk about non-business like?
Philosophy.
Yeah.
I mean, she uses her philosophy.
Well, you just answer your own question, Fred. It's like, if the age thing doesn't factor in and just being with someone who's good looking doesn't factor in, he's in love with her mind.
What do you like in a woman? You tell me.
Brains. That's it. And he is.
That almost sounds like Frankenstein's doctor. I love brains. Brains.
That's it. He's in love with her mind.
And Fred, you talk about it all the time. You want me to. Over 100, you sent me the picture. You want me to talk about it. It's gross. It's now beyond that, it's pathetic. It's just pathetic. Even if she has a fetish, it's all on him. It's not her even. It's pathetic.
Here's a question. Over under. How much longer does this last, do you think?
Well, some people are hearing wedding bells coming.
I think they're going to get married.
Coming at the end of the year.
Okay.
They're going to get married, and Bill's kids and grandkids and in-laws are all going to have to stand around watching it.
All right, let's say
watching that money go into someone else's pocket. Because once they get married, unless that thing's annulled, she's getting a lot, a lot. The minute that marriage gets past that annulment period, that divorce and that will, when he dies, and believe me, he doesn't look like someone who's going to live to be 100. He's fat. So, like, the whole thing, I mean, he's every year of that age.
I've heard the same rumors you guys have, that the
she's marrying him
at the end of the year. I heard the same thing
yeah.
Hardy was just talking about. Now the question is, do you think Bill will ever see the light and go, "Oh my God, what have I done"?
No.
So it really will be until death do they part.
The fact that he's gone this far means he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. And look no further than his ex-players. I mean, we've talked to him. We talked to Castle. We talked to Hoyer. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Big grand. Andy, go ahead.
Hey guys, you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, this is Belichick's way of trying to convince his soon-to-be players? Hey guys, bust your ass in football for the rest of your lives, make it as successful as me, and then when you're 75 years old, you can do this too.
No, because if you're a player probably that's playing at a D1 school in football, you're having sex with a lot of people that are as good or if not better looking than her. I think Bill might.
Sure.
I think that she's probably convinced him. I think you have a point, though, is that I don't think with recruiting, but she's probably convinced him.
You know what? I'm 50 years old, too, and if when I'm 76, I can get a little piece of tail like that after busting my butt, I do it.
Yeah, you'd have sex with her, but would you be all over Instagram taking photos?
No, but what do I care? I don't use the computer.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
It's a little different.
I got news for you. If you got a family, you're not sitting there taking Instagram
You have two
photos.
grown kids that have to watch their dad go through this.
And his, as far as his players, like looking at it as something to aspire to, put yourself back in your 21, 22-year-old self.
She is 23.
Okay. The very notion of ever being 73 years old is incomprehensible. You can't. You would never project yourself there. It's not even a consideration. So no, the kids are. He is not doing this as a means to inspire his kids. And if he is, it's completely futile.
But they were taking these photos before he had the North Carolina job.
Yeah, and I don't think these kids, even if they were to project themselves, they're not going to look at this as something to admire.
Yeah.
Everybody is doing the same thing. They're scratching their heads and laughing at it.
And also this notion of being a simp. Like, being a simp now is even like being nice. Like, so, like, let alone taking these Instagram photos. Again, I've gone away with Instagram people. Like, been, like, at places overnight where they were staying based on their Instagram. And I got news for you. I wasn't in any dumb Instagram pictures. Why? Because I don't want to. And I got kids who are on Instagram. Are you crazy? Hey, let's take a picture on the beach. Go screw yourself. And by the way, who took that photo? Go get some guy to take the photo?
That's obvious. That's Mike Lombardi.
No, Mike Lombardi
took that picture.
Frank, go ahead.
All right, in the pantheon of all-time gross-out celebrity couples, there's a clear number one, and that's Anna Nicole Smith and that
billionaire,
and that
Howard Marks,
bound, and the wheelchair-bound fella. I mean, I'm not saying this is number two, but it's in the conversation, I think.
Yeah, and you know what, Frank? Anna Nicole Smith being with an older guy wouldn't be weird, but being with like a guy who is like gonna die in 6 months is weird, and that's why. Like a 72-year-old, like if George Clooney was 72, or even Mick Jagger at 80, were with a 23-year-old, you'd be like, good for you. Like you're running around on stadium stages. Bill is gross and old and fat. Like it's all weird. But I don't even have anything against her. Like whatever she's doing, great. It's him. Like you projected yourself as being above everyone. You stood at podiums and, dressed down reporters for being stupid. And now here you are sprung on some 23-year-old chick that you met on an airplane and you're going to marry her and thereby you're going to be giving her tens of millions of dollars. So have fun with that, stupid. And this is the rest of your life. She's going to turn 24. She has a birthday party. Who's going to that birthday party? Breer just texted us. Who's going to that birthday party? So Bill Belichick, you going to put on a birthday hat and have her blow out the candles in a room full of other 23-year-old kids? 23. You bring a 24-year-old girl in here. What am I gonna lose my mind? If that girl walked into a room, would you lose your mind? Would you lose your mind? If she paid attention to you and wanted to have sex with you, you'd probably be like, "This is cool. I'm gonna have sex with her. She's good looking." I can assure you that after it was over, you wouldn't go, "Oh boy, let's get married."
It's a good bet.
Emotions change once it's over. Yeah. Like you would be like, "All right," and you'd be shirtless on her porch looking for your car.
That never gets old. That will never get old.
And again, my comparison is if you were 23 and Pat Summitt came up to you when she was coaching in a pantsuit and went, "Come here." You're 23 and you're with a 73-year-old women's college basketball coach. That's the equivalent. Imagine now having sex with a 73-year-old woman. Now, even at John's advanced age.
No.
Who even wants to be having sex when they're 73? I want to be comfortable.
Hold on. How old is Andy McDowell? Then I'll answer.
Oh, boy.
She can't be a woman over 65.
66.
Yeah.
All right.
She's 66? Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I would have sex.
Time go?
I would have had sex with Rita Moreno well into her 70s. Same with Raquel Welch.
She's 80 now.
Same with Raquel Welch.
Rita Moreno is 80. Would you do that?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, she wouldn't have you anyway.
Of course not. He asked me if that was an option. Of course, it's not an option. But I can assure you, it's not rocket science. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. It really is. That stupid prick that was such an a-hole to everyone and act like such a jerk has now just lost his head and is now going to give away his fortune to this 23-year-old chick that just graduated college.
You also said
that's proud she was a cheerleader. Like, that's so much accomplishment.
Business-wise, you're right. I mean, this doesn't help recruiting. This isn't helping him form
he's not doing
in the locker room.
This isn't this isn't chess checkers, Bill Belichick. No. This is Bill Belichick, old crazy man who's lost it, whose family's got to be crapping their pants behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because you can give me as many assistant coaching jobs as you want. I don't want her to take half the inheritance. And you can sign prenups all you want. You get married, you owe that person a tremendous amount of money. And it's all on a scale. It's a math problem. It's all on a scale of how much money you have. And regardless of the length of marriage or anything else, he's just transferring his wealth to her.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a genius. Yeah. He's a real genius. And that's another thing is
Not
what a
as
genius
much money
he is.
For you, Bal.
Big genius, you stupid idiot.
I know way more.
Oh, Fred, you're jealous. That's exactly what I want, dumbass. As I want to be running around Mary Ann's at Boston College with some broad that just graduated. That's exactly what I want to be doing with my time.
That's the dumbest narrative.
Yeah, sitting around Mary Ann's doing Jaeger shots at effing 50 years old. That's what I want, stupid. And taking Instagram photos.
This is a comedy.
Big dummy, giving all my money to everyone. All right, there you go. You got your rant. And then, now you can put a pin in it and we'll be back.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back on the Sports Hub.
If you are lucky or foolish,
or Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub. You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
All right. If you want to email us, you can go to 985thesportshub.com and listen. Blind Scott does it 15 times a day. You can do it too. You can vote for our 6-man contest and follow us at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram. And you can follow me at Fred Toucher as my building and building and building. Brick by brick, getting up there. And once I reach a certain point, then watch out what I'll be doing on the beach. I'll be using my legs to support all kinds of stuff. Refrigerators and everything else. All right. This is a big talk in the office, too. Everyone who's in the office right now is talking about it. Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, John, I just want to say, buddy, it's been a pleasure listening to you call these games. You're the best play-by-play guy in all mid-major basketball. It's a great day to be a Bulldog.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm not saying I'm picking Bryant to win, even though I'm a huge homer, but I do think if Keyshawn Mitchell goes 20 and 10, you got a live dog, buddy. You say yes?
Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I just got finished telling these guys I put 200 on Bryant to cover this game.
I mean, no one watches Bryant. I get it. They're the 6th tallest team in all of college basketball.
But you guys don't watch Michigan State, which is what the problem is. Bryant very well may cover. It's an 18.5-point line. Who cares? But, I mean, who knows? Look, I watched Michigan State with 3 NBA players lose to Middle Tennessee State in a 2-15 game. But this notion that because you guys watch Bryant, you're somehow experts on the outcome of this game. You guys have not even watched one Michigan State game.
I've watched one.
Well, I've watched 10, 12 Michigan State games.
They're bruisers. They're big bodies.
I looked at the roster last night.
You know
they got
why?
4 guys who are 6'10" and taller.
Yeah, you know why Bryant doesn't have those guys that are 6'10" and taller? Because they're way better than the guys Bryant has. And they at least they have one kid who would be a first-round pick on their team.
I told you,
Richardson.
Told you many times. I'm under no illusion they're going to beat this team. There's more than one person picking Michigan State to reach the Final Four.
Yeah, well, I told you that in November, but I will say this.
You did say that, yes.
If Bryant does win, this is a double Joe Milton situation. Like when Joe Milton came into the preseason game or came into the final game of the season. Preseason, same difference. And cost you the number 1 pick in the draft. That, I'd badmouthed Joe Milton so many times, and then he comes out and lights it up. If Bryant turns around and beats Michigan State,
we're gonna give you a Bryant basketball uniform.
I would root for Bryant if they were playing anyone besides Michigan State, because I've had to adopt Michigan State on the account of everyone at Michigan is insufferable, and I'm from the area, and I went to Rollins.
Bryant's gonna make this game uncomfortable. I'm under no
very
illusion
good. What annoys me with that is that the only reason you're saying that is because you call the games and watch them. That's the only reason.
They may.
You have no knowledge of their opponent. That's what's annoying to me.
Okay.
I hope you lose your money. Really?
They were St. John's was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Into the second half against Bryant.
That's because Pitino had banged half the crowd.
I see.
You don't think he was uncomfortable being in Rhode Island?
Probably not. No.
How many of the people in the crowd had he tried to pay? I mean, let's be honest.
By the way, Rory just bogeyed the second playoff hole, the Island Green at TPC Sawgrass, and he still has a 3-stroke lead going into the
Who's he playing?
Third and final playoff hole, JJ Spawn, because Spawn triple bogeyed the Island Green, knocked it in the water. His shot from the drop zone was so poor that he had to use a wedge again from pretty much on the green to access the hole location. He made triple, and this thing's over.
Hardy's not doing it justice. You really had to have seen it to capture the excitement.
Sure.
Thank you.
I got an email here from Chris who is.
Well, don't change the subject. I mean, they're still playing golf.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Rita Moreno is apparently older than 90. Apparently, she's 93.
I would no longer do it. Yeah. But for a very long time, I would have.
Huh.
But I don't know the difference. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. I don't know why a 23-year-old woman's any more beautiful than a beautiful 33-year-old woman or 43-year-old woman. Women, I really don't. Unless you have some age fetish or something, I sincerely mean that. I really don't understand the appeal of it. Like, it's not like if he was like I thought his ex-girlfriend was really good looking. Like, I never thought like what a loser Bill was.
I think she's better looking than the one he's got now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I happen to agree.
I think Linda Holliday's far better looking.
Yeah, I think this notion of like just because she's 23, it's some like incredible achievement of his is false. Like, if he was with a super beautiful, I mean, he's 73. Say he was with a super beautiful 53-year-old woman. That's a 20-year age difference. Like, you would be like, oh wow, yeah, good for him. Because you'd have something to talk about. It wouldn't be weird when you were out. You wouldn't be, having to pay people's rent.
Actually, old conversations.
You wouldn't have to, like the guy said in the interview, rent a car for everyone.
Chris emailed us this, that Jordan is working on a documentary film in Maine on the lobster industry. She was meeting one of Maine's senators, had a film crew down east. Word is she used Bill to help finance the entire project. You don't say.
You don't say. I thought someone just was like...
I thought maybe she had gotten some angel investors for the lobster documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only pissed that I'm just now hearing about it. I would have sunk my money into
Well,
it.
she went to film school, She was at USC film school. No, I'm sorry. She was at NYU film school. Oh, no, she has not. She didn't do that at all. She's 23. She's just out of college.
She studied something else.
Yeah. She didn't
Somewhere
study
else.
film. But a documentary on the lobster industry needed to be done. And that sounds like a moneymaker to me, too.
Yeah.
But it's about the art,
Well, you get the right editor, and it could be watchable. Holy crap, this kid is disintegrating. I feel bad for him. Now Spawn just put one so far right, I don't even know if they're going to find it. Good luck, kid.
That's
Have
too
fun.
bad.
They should mercy him.
Yeah.
Don't even play the last one.
Oh, Hardy. I mean, all right, go, John, because he's all distracted.
We've lost Hardy.
Yeah.
There was an article over the weekend on Mass Live. Karen Garigian wrote it, saying, okay, if the Patriots, based on their free agent signings, they have now a cornerback to play opposite Christian Gonzalez. If Travis Hunter is there at 4 and Will Campbell is there at 4, do you pass on Hunter because you have a more pressing need at left tackle?
No.
And we have 3 emails here that say the exact same thing. God, no. You take Travis Hunter.
Take Travis Hunter.
And by the way, as part of the article, Karen points out a little nugget of information. The Patriots not only believe he's the best cornerback in the draft, they believe he's the best wide receiver in the draft also.
As long as if you're thinking about drafting Will Campbell and somehow trying to see if he can play left tackle, just go get any left tackle that actually has played left tackle.
Yeah, I know.
And put him in there.
Yeah, you can't draft by position, but you know what you could do with Travis Hunter is you could have him be a full-time receiver, and now that you have 2 good corners, you have one great corner and one solid second corner because you went on free agency and got it good. You could play Hunter in third down situations at corner.
Sure.
I mean, you could put him in
a nickel? Sure.
Yeah, and then you would have an elite nickel corner. I mean, you could do that. So how many snaps a game? I mean, he could play 8 to 10 defensive snaps a game.
More.
More. But I'm just saying 8 to 10 defensive snaps.
Yeah, you wouldn't want him, but you
third
wouldn't
and
want
long.
him playing that many. I understand what you're saying.
But you
Fred.
could you could use him as a receiver, and in third and long situations, you could put him out as corner, and that would be he'd be a big troublemaker.
Yeah, he would be your number 1 receiver for 60 snaps a game, and then go over and play defense.
Just selfishly, as a fan of the team who watches every game, if that describes you. You should be looking for reasons to want to watch this team, and having Travis Hunter out there as playing as a two-way player, that's compelling. That's something you would want to watch.
Draft interior line, draft tackles the rest of the draft. Take linemen the rest of the draft. Take the best linemen on the board for the rest of the draft if you want to.
And they'll be there in the second and third round. The project guys will be there in the second and third round.
Well, I mean, you can get a guy who's going to start for you in the interior offensive line, certainly in the second round.
Yes. But I was just talking about tackles.
No, I know.
The project tackles will be there in the second and third round if you want to go that way.
Look, you take the best player on the board. Your team is devoid of talent.
I couldn't agree with you more, Hardy. I want a left tackle that plays left tackle. I don't want a left tackle that has to move inside the guard. I don't want a guy who might be good. I just want a left tackle.
Yeah, don't waste that pick at 4. If Travis Hunter is there, what are you talking about? Of course you draft him.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. Plus, and then you put him on the tickets, and now you got 2 stars on your team.
That's right.
Yeah. Seriously.
Because, I mean, Christian Gonzalez is a great corner, but he's not a star. I mean, you got Drake May and you got Travis Hunter, and now you're building something. Now you're on TV. You have Drake May and Travis Hunter. Now you're talking about an extra prime time game.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
You make it a Monday and a Thursday. Woo.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
And then we're not on Sunday night football.
Wow.
Let's not go nuts.
No.
Unless you're playing someone.
It would
some
have
hot
to,
shot.
It has to do with Kansas City or the opponent.
Yeah, because the Jets are no longer you're given. They're not playing. They're not playing 10 primetime games anymore with Justin Fields at quarterback. That will be welcome. All right, look, we will be back with the stack. Hardy, hopefully this playoff will be done by the time we get back. Hardy's eyes are glued to the screen. He's shaking his head.
Rory didn't do himself any favors with his tee shot on 18 either. But,
but they're still searching for the other guys.
He was Barney Rubble in it with the putter.
He's going to give the relief from the cart path. This choker
spawned.
Choker. He's in a playoff for the 5th major,
and he choked.
You know what the 6th major is? The Waste Management Open.
Oh, it's not.
That should be.
All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
All right, well, St. Patrick's Day is over for us in terms of the show, so no more Irish music from Adam, so that's a good thing going on.
Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
No, I didn't enjoy it at all. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right.
Do you have your Borg ready to go for the day? You can be lugging that around with you for the rest of St. Patrick's Day?
My what?
Your Borg.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God.
Do you know what that is, Jonathan?
No clue. I
Do
don't
you
know
know
what
Adam?
he's talking about.
Of course I do.
What is it, 12?
It is the you take a big gallon of water and you empty the water out and then you fill it with alcohol, water, and electrolytes, and you carry that around with you and drink it in public on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Now, why would I want the water and electrolytes in it?
Because that way you can continue to drink but replenish your body.
That's what cocaine is for. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Isn't that the whole point of cocaine, is so you can keep consuming alcohol?
Wasn't it Crash the one who would do like a pint glass of water for every Budweiser? Like,
No,
wasn't that his whole thing?
no.
Like it was like water, Bud, water,
No.
so you could just drink forever?
No.
That sounds like a responsible drinker.
And that also sounds like a good way to get very sick. Just consuming that. If you're going to be drinking a ton of beer, just consuming that much water in addition. But the alcohol is going to do what the alcohol is going to do. It doesn't matter if you drink 1,000 glasses of water. You might not dehydrate as much, but there's a lot more going on than just dehydration.
I think it's just that's more to fight the hangover. That's all.
Yeah, but you're still going to get a hangover. Like it's you might not be as dehydrated, so you might not wake up thirsty. You'll just pee all night, but you're still going to be hungover.
So the cops yesterday
the
were
carcinogens and stuff in liquor are still going to be in your body.
They were confiscating the Borgs at South Station and at various stops along the route and the parks and stuff. And there were Borg pyramids being built from the confiscated Borgs. So a lot of wasted electrolytes yesterday.
Ryan pointed out something interesting about some of those press photos that were put out, how the handwriting on a lot of the Borgs looked the same. It's almost as if maybe there weren't so many Borgs, and maybe it was we were going to get some props and take this big photo to kind of make it look like it's a bigger deal than it actually is.
Well, okay. Interesting theory, but who in the Boston Police Department PR room thought that they would go through all the trouble and actually pull that off and do it?
They loved putting those photos up yesterday, which I think is almost counterintuitive. Like, Fred didn't know what a Borg was. You know, I think a lot of people might not know. And
well,
Adam wants these whole things defunded.
It's interesting.
He wants the police defunded.
Hashtag defund Borg.
That's right.
I have an update here, boys.
Everything the police do is very against.
I have an update. An unsolicited text.
Whoa!
From Daniel.
Wow.
How about that?
Whoa!
Daniel, of course, is Hardy's driver/friend from his trip to Puerto Rico.
Morning, Rob. I took good care of Chris. Now, Chris is the person who emailed me, a listener. Want to know if I would share Daniel's info. I vetted Chris, deemed him worthy, shared his info.
Sure.
I took good care of Chris. I think he had an amazing time here, and probably he's coming back. Smiley face, 2 exclamation points. Have a great day. Hand thank you emoji.
That's nice of him. That was nice of him.
That's really
Daniel's a good guy.
That's a connection right there.
Well, it's a financial connection.
Yeah.
It's still a business, but at least he's a good businessman.
Yeah.
He's keeping that relationship alive.
Okay, so now I have 2 things with Daniel. Somebody else emailed me over the weekend and wants his information along the same lines. At some point, do I have to tell Daniel what it is I do for a living and why so many people are...
You never told him you were on the radio?
No.
He never asked what you do for a living?
Never came up.
Wow, you guys were really having deep conversations.
Yeah.
It wasn't about surface stuff like, what do you do? What's it matter?
You know what? I read this thing a long time ago that said the thing that it was this caddy at St. Andrews. It said, what do you think of Americans who come over here? And they said, they're nice, they're fun. He said, they talk about themselves all the time. Like they talk about themselves, what they're doing. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. He said, it's not that I necessarily want to open up, but he said that is the one thing I noticed about American tourists. They talk about themselves. So especially when I'm like elsewhere, I make it a point just to ask, people about themselves, about the country or the city or the territory, as the case was in Puerto Rico.
Well, if you went to a salon in Paris with other great minds and you brought up work, that would be considered very, whatever the French term for that would be considered not good. If I could get too deep into the thesaurus, it would be considered not good. That's considered like kind of boorish.
Oh yeah,
you know,
right. So it never. So should I say to Daniel in this next text, Glad's going to. Hey, there's somebody else. And full disclosure, I'm on the radio here in Boston, and we've talked about what a great trip we had, and that's why so many people want your information.
Tell him that you're in the Trump administration. And see what he reacts.
I'm looking for real advice here.
Now that Daniel's gotten back to you, I've kind of lost interest in Daniel.
I know. No, it's just kind of.
Now it's just you're really helping the guy. You're almost a pimp, you know?